time. It's time. Sit down. Shut up. Just stop playing Uncharted 4 for 10 minutes.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No, you can't make me. You can't make me. I will rage quit this podcast. I will pull it over right now.
You guys don't know this, but Jennifer's actually playing Uncharted 4 while recording this.
While we speak.
Yeah.
Serious mode, bros.
I told
Serious
her,
mode.
I was like, you have to stop, and then she cut me a little bit, and I was like, well...
I keep a razor blade in my weave, okay?
That's legit.
I don't play.
That's legit. I'm not going to argue with that. Well, welcome everybody to the Rage Select Podcast. Here at Rage Select, I am Jeff.
I'm Mayhem's Muse.
And, we have... I think we just have a metric shit ton of things to talk about this week.
Like a year worth of shit to talk about.
I know. There's so many things.
No pressure.
Every week I'm always worried that there's not going to be anything, and then there's always just like all of the
all of the opinions and the salt.
Yes.
Salt Fest.
Yes.
2016.
Oh man, that's gonna be my new Tumblr.
Yes.
Salt Fest 2016.
Ooh, beautiful. I dig it.
But before we get into anything else, Jennifer, we have a very important topic of conversation.
I'm intrigued.
Something that has only come up just recently.
Oh.
I'm sure that nobody is going to see this coming, but how good is that Marvel Civil War? How good is that Captain America Civil War?
Wait.
How good is that Civil War?
What do you mean nobody saw this coming, air quote? What is that even?
Misdirection. It's the trick of all
Okay, so here's ridiculous.
Podcasters.
That movie was great, although
okay.
My hairstylist and I have one thing to say.
Oh, really? Okay.
Marvel.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing to ScarJo's hair?
Okay.
Okay? She's the Black Widow.
Oh, no.
She's got red hair. I don't know if you've ever noticed. Mm-hmm. She's a redhead.
Sure.
Like a fiery redhead.
Okay.
Like sassy, fiery redhead. Okay?
Right.
So stop this subtle, diversion into making her a brunette, please.
Was she brunette in the movie?
No, but in
my brain just melted.
If you go back and review the timeline of all the movies that she's in,
yeah.
At the first, which was one of the Iron Man movies, yeah. She was like fiery, brilliantly red, and it was perfect. It was gorgeous. I dug it for days. And then as we've worked into the Avenger movies and the Captain America movies, she's slowly gotten duller and duller. Not her acting, her hair. They've changed her hair color regimen.
Okay.
She's now no longer a fiery red. She's like a deep auburn burgeoning on brown. And I'm disturbed.
Is it just because you were
appalled.
Excited about the representation of redheads in Hollywood?
We are thoroughly underrepresented.
The red washing or the
just stop the brown madness.
The brown washing, yes.
Stop the hating of the redheads.
Yeah.
Just do it. It was great. It was such a good movie.
It was so good. And
Although.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I have another although.
Okay.
Bucky and Cap just need to make out already. Seriously?
Did you see somebody? Let's just say
I want it to happen. We all want it to happen.
There's no spoilers here, but there was an article that somebody.
No, bro, that's DC. Spoiler is DC. Wrong franchise.
Oh shit, that's a deep cut. Somebody linked an article on my Facebook feed to a thing that was written in Vanity Fair where without spoiling anything, there's one scene of specifically like Captain America's into girls in Civil War, and Vanity Fair was like, "Why do you crush my /fic dreams?"
Hey, whoa! I'll slow that roll real quick.
Okay.
Just because he can appreciate a pretty girl, doesn't mean he can't also appreciate the glorious, lustrous locks of Bucky.
Mm-hmm. And
some people are fully capable of keeping their eyes open and swinging both ways or swinging neutral. Androgyny's hot.
He's Captain America. He's freedom.
Yeah,
he's
and
liberty.
America's a free country, man.
Do whatever you want to.
Make out with Bucky if you want to. I support you, bro. I support you.
Somebody else I saw, there was a great picture that I saw on Facebook where there's a scene where there's like 6 or 7 of them, and they're just like underneath, they're like under an overpass or something, and they're getting ready to go do a big thing, and then Captain America's like, "All right, everybody, suit up." And then somebody had drawn the next panel of like all 6 of them awkwardly like taking their clothes off to put on the different costumes.
See, this is a real life superhero film. You know, you don't just roll out of bed in that latex. It takes effort.
Yeah.
And like the weird jumpy dance that you have to do when you try to get into tight pants.
Yep.
It's awkward and uncomfortable, and I'm sure that zippers get caught. That's life.
I do that with I do that with Friday night jeans, man. I can only imagine what it's like when you got head to toe, whatever the hell that stuff is.
No Pants Friday is the only way to solve that problem.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've been neglecting my jorts regiment this summer.
What?
I've been going with the cargo shorts because I got so much jorts hate in the past.
Whoa. You're taking your fashion advice from people other than yourself? Why?
Well, Jason Murphy he's good at making you feel bad about your jorts. I mean, I don't know.
Screw him. You rock them jorts, baby. Rock them.
I think I need to find. I don't know if I have any left where my manly virility hasn't just blown the crotch right out of them, like what happens with all jeans.
Hey, it doesn't happen just to you. That happened to my girlfriend when she was working on her roof a couple months ago.
Yeah,
and it was funny because she didn't realize it. She's just doing her thing, working on the roof in like the holy pants or whatever, and she looks down and there's the neighbor's son, like 30-something-year-old son, not like kid son. He's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? She's like, oh, hey, neighbor, how's it going? How's life? And he just gets this like, oh, shit look on his face. And she's got no idea why. She's like, why is he giving me the weird stare? Do I got something on my face?
Right.
And she comes down off the roof and ba-bam! She's like, her whole business is just hanging out.
I don't know.
Blowing her shit out.
Somebody can make a well, I don't know. It's probably built into him, but somebody can make a fortune by making jeans that don't. I don't know why that's the place. Like I've never had a pair of jeans where like the outside leg ripped or whatever. It's always right at the crotch level. Yeah,
hey, it's too much to be contained. Apparently,
they
need to just like double line the inside of jeans. I'm saying I've had 2 pairs of pants this year that have done that.
Yeah,
for me, it's the butt region.
Yep.
Which I'll take as a compliment because there used to be a day when I couldn't fit into my pants in that they would just fall off my lack of butt.
Oh, wow.
But then roller derby happened and the first month or so of doing roller derby, my hips grew 2 inches.
Wow.
Roller derby, folks, the best workout regimen you will ever know, especially if you're a skinny ass white girl with no booty.
All right,
that's the thing.
I think
you just do squats.
You're hitting our
squats and thrusts.
Our target demographic is skinny white girls without ass.
I mean, my people. Song of my people.
But anyway, I wanted to say that I don't know that I have any praise to heap on Civil War that hasn't already been heaped on Civil War because everybody's just like. I do think though that it was I felt that it was a pretty dramatic difference in the fact that this movie is the culmination of at least like 3 or 4 other Marvel movies leading up to it.
Yeah, all the storylines are coming together.
As opposed to Batman versus Superman, which had to like do all that shit in one movie and
repeat all of the shit we already know that they wasted time. I mean, what?
Yeah. Love the new Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 5000?
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
5002? I can't keep count.
2025? I don't
Sounds right. Yeah.
I like the fact that he's like a super young kid so that
he was great. So I think he's my favorite Spider-Man I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back. Yeah. Tobey Maguire was all right in the beginning.
I mean, he was all right, but I've never really been a Tobey fan.
Yeah.
He's just he's there and he acts, he does it, but I've never seen a film that I walked out of going, God in heaven, Tobey Maguire just rocked my world and was amazing. It's never happened, ever. He's just kind of there and he's pretty and that's that.
Yeah.
This guy was great.
He's also probably... I like the fact that he's such a young character in comparison to everybody else in that movie. Like every other person.
It brings a nice balance to the severity of a lot of the other people and like the egos.
Yeah.
He can be a little bit of the comedic relief, but he's still brilliant. I really found myself digging Spider-Man.
Yeah, especially because
surprise.
Because Tony Stark is such a bummer now.
Jesus Christ, Tony.
He's such a bummer.
Bro, okay, and here's the thing I will also say. I have had a lifelong, and by lifelong I mean since middle school when I made friends with this individual, feud with a very dear friend of mine about the fact that he is all up Captain America's butt, just absolutely loves Cap. Just Team Cap of the universe. Like, if there's a Team Cap fan club, he would be the president.
Okay.
And I've always been like, nah, I'm not about that. I don't like him. I'm not, no, you can't make me.
He's just too much America.
Just too much goody two shoes. Which it's my friend is very similar in that ideology. So I get where he's coming from, and I've always been more attracted to like the good but chaotic characters that are willing to be sarcastic and willing to get their hands a little dirty.
Sure.
So I've been team Iron Man up until that movie. But I knew that I wanted to go into this particular storyline very neutral.
Yeah.
Just like, I know I've always had this qualm in the past, but I'm going to go into it and I'm just going to be open-minded and enjoy it and see what happens.
Okay.
I totally am disappointed in Tony Stark right now.
Yeah?
Man, he's pulling the emo card real bad. And bro, you had one of the sexiest women on the face of the planet and you fucked it up.
Oh, yeah.
You fucked it up. She hasn't been in the last 2 movies. And I'm like, wait, no, 3 or 4 movies now. She was in like the first 3 Iron Mans.
Time she showed up. She was in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, and then barely. And then that was it. So like, are they done with Gwen? Are they done with her?
Oh,
I hope not. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, I know. I thought in my mind immediately said Gwen Stacy. I'm like,
no. Are they done with Pepper Potts? Like, are they done with her?
I don't know. Like, she had hardcore superpowers at the end of Iron Man 3. I'm like,
man. She's now supposed to be like coming in to be a superhero and smacking Stark around and making him toe the line, but she just gives up and leaves. Like, bros.
Yeah. I mean, at least Tony Stark owns up to it. He's just kind of like, hey,
he fucked it up.
I am an asshole. It was all my fault. But
underlying caveat is this furthering the redhead prejudice agenda?
Ooh, I think we're getting to the deep. This is the deep conspiracy theory behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Have you seen my favorite other conspiracy theory that has cropped up just recently?
Tell me.
Is I saw a Change.org petition, which we all know how.
Oh yeah,
Change.org, changing the world, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
To get Disney to stop paying film critics to give MCU movies good scores and pan everything else that comes out that's a superhero movie. I don't know if you've run across this yet, but like if you go to an article about like how bad Batman versus Superman is and you go down to the comments, there will invariably be like a half dozen people in there who are like, the only reason you wrote this is because Marvel is paying you to.
Wow.
And there are a lot of people who, even though it's not even out yet, X-Men Apocalypse is getting terrible reviews.
Really?
Yeah, who are like, that is also this grand conspiracy. So we're going to take up a petition to be like, please stop doing this underhanded
I'm
deal.
not in favor of that. I'm actually quite gratified that we're now in a generation where all of our fandoms from our childhoods are coming out and getting screen time and full feature films, and all of the amazing actors are getting more jobs playing freaking amazing characters, and it's cool to be a nerd. It's chic. Nerd chic is a thing.
Yep.
I'm very happy at this. So screw that. No underhanded smear politics, okay? Just make a goddamn good film. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing or how anybody's going to like it. Just make a good film that has integrity and is true to the comics and the fandom. All I say.
I just keep coming back to the whole idea of, if the critics didn't like Batman versus Superman and you did like it, fucking like it. Like it. It's fine. Like, who cares?
There were parts of it I didn't like, but overall, I liked it enough that I went and saw it 2-3 times.
Really?
Gal Gadot is my new fangirl crush. Oh God,
I couldn't stand that movie.
Swoon. I know you couldn't. You have strong feelings, and that's cool.
Yeah,
we're still friends.
Yeah.
I love to hate you, and you hate to love you. It's cool.
Go see it however many times you want.
I will. And I still hate Superman, and that's still a thing. And Batfleck was cool. I digged it.
I had
words.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was like, I hate Superman. And then I just we went to the bar and I told him 6 of the most popular Superman stories in the comics. And he's like, that sounds rad. And I'm like, yeah, it's not.
Why don't they ever publish those stories?
It's not that you hate Superman. It's just that nobody's ever handed you a stack of the best Superman comics and said,
True.
Here, do that.
There is that.
But speaking of this golden age in which we live, there's also a trailer out for Assassin's Creed posted today on the interwebs with Michael Fassy and I don't know who that other lady is, but she looks really familiar. Is that the girl from Inception? Marion Cotillard or whatever?
She's been in a few things recently.
Yeah, it is.
I like her.
Yep, it is.
I love him. He's my actor guy crush right now.
Really?
Other than Jared Leto, but I call him a music guy crush because he was a musician before he began acting. His acting projects are amazing, but Michael, I dig you, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything. I don't have any strong feelings about him.
Have you seen the newest generation of X-Men movies? He plays Magneto.
Yeah, he's all right.
I like him.
Yeah,
he's got that serious, broody, sexy thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays a wide gamut of characters. I mean, I dig it. He played Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I didn't see any of there was like 2 Steve Jobs biopics. I didn't see either one of them.
I just really like his acting style.
Well, but this, I don't know. Okay, let's start. What did you think of this Assassin's Creed trailer?
I have a couple feelings.
Okay.
One, as I was just saying, I love the fact that we're in a generation where video games and comics are being rampantly picked up and made into beautiful, stunning movies.
Yeah.
This movie looks beautiful.
Absolutely. I am a little, this is such a nitpick, but like so much of the assassin gear in here is all gray or black, and in the games it's very much white and reds and stuff.
Yeah, that I can see that it would be harder to film in, so I can see that.
Yeah.
And then in a contrast, if you're shooting in like an all stucco and white kind of background, you're going to get more contrast with a black.
Yeah.
So I understand that from a cinematographical point of view.
Yeah.
Is that a word? I don't know.
I know you got there eventually.
I got there eventually. The first thing that pops into my head is Prince of Persia.
Okay. I never even watched Prince of Persia.
I did.
Yeah.
I watched it a couple times.
I've heard some people say it was all right. I heard some people say it was really bad. Some people just say it was
feelings. It was pretty. The guy playing the main character was in no way, shape, or form Arabian, Middle Eastern of any kind of descent.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, the
corn-fed white boy.
Yep.
Which that goes back into that whole issue of failing to cast people in roles that are very obviously ethnically aware, like culturally aware. Just failing to give a crap about culture.
Sure.
Which I find to be a problem.
Yep.
So there's that. And then they had that A plus B equals C, guy meets girl, guy falls in love with girl, guy rescues girl kind of storyline, and I don't dig that. I'm like, give us content from the games.
Sure.
Kind of thing. So I'm just worried that they might do that with this. But it doesn't look like they made any attempt to tie any kind of romantic anything into this trailer.
No,
so
it's in
hope.
there. It's
Is
in there.
It? I missed it.
You can see that
there was a girl.
I think it's because I believe Marion Cotillard is in. I think she's the other lady assassin that you're seeing back in the past. And I bet that they're going to be in the Animus together and then eventually fall in love in the past and
Does
do
that
whatever.
happen in the games?
No,
not a thing,
but
right?
see, I think that I can't really tell how close they're going to hew to the games. The games are too complicated, honestly, because like you have 2 different characters. You have Desmond, who is the guy in the present, and then when he goes to the past, he's playing as Altair or Ezio or whoever, his actual ancestor. Whereas here, it's like they've got Fasty Fast hooked up to this big robot arm, and then it's like him in the past.
Just him. Which I can see that they're doing probably for continuity's sake.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier to follow the storyline as a movie if it's the same face.
Yeah.
I can see that, I guess.
I mean, in the original Assassin's Creed, there was the lady that Marion Cotillard is in this trailer was actually played by, Kristen Bell.
Oh.
And she was like the kind of sympathetic lady who's helping him through this whole process. And then they end up, it's so complicated. They end up kind of getting together, but she's like a quintuple agent, or I don't know.
Nice.
Eventually, Assassin's Creed all got roped into itself.
Pick one side when you can pick them all.
Yeah. I think that what worries me about this trailer is the fact that outside of the very beginning where they talk about, we've kidnapped you, we put you in the Animus, we want your memories. Like, I didn't, like, okay, so the trailer starts, they show the present, Fasty Fast is on death row. They put him in the Animus. They hook him all up. I don't know why they have to put the actual blades on his arms if he's going into his memories or whatever. But anyway, after that point, the rest of the trailer is just an action montage.
Right.
And so, like, I think that the reason, like, the way that the Assassin's Creed series lives or dies is based on the actual story of what's going on in the past, not necessarily the present, because the present is just a framing device. It'll be at the beginning of the movie. It'll be at the end of the movie. There'll probably be a few things. But, like, the core of an Assassin's Creed game is you play Animus at the beginning, Animus at the end, and then, like, 25 hours worth of pirates or, colonial America or whatever in between. So I'd kind of like to know a little bit more about what exactly they're looking for, because it's a convoluted. If you've never played one of these, the Templars here are kidnapping assassins, making them relive their memories in order to find the location of these reality bending artifacts that were created by a race of people who a precursor race who existed before humanity and so it's such a convoluted story
they better
thing.
do a good job of telling the story, but it's got Jeremy Irons in it and he always picks good stories.
It looks he was in Dungeons and Dragons. But.
Shut up. I'm over you right now. Don't even.
But
don't invoke it. I feel dirty now.
I don't know. It looks all right. It looks like it could go either way.
I'm not gonna lie. I used to own that movie.
It's.
I'm not happy about it. Okay.
To process your feelings about what movies Jeremy Irons has been. I
could have done better with Aragon, and I was disappointed they didn't do a sequel. But whatever.
Yeah.
I have a first edition copy of that book signed by the author. Like from there are only a couple hundred of that book that his parents owned a printing press back in the day.
What?
Yeah, the guy who wrote Aragon, Christopher Paolini, he was a young cat when he wrote it. He was like 15.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, it was the year after it had come out, and he was doing like a very small series of like tour where he went to local high schools and talked about the book, and he had like to sell by hand the paperback copies of the book that his parents had published in their printing press before it got picked up and was popular. So I have a copy of it. The last that somebody researched, that book goes for like $600 online or something like that. Yeah, I have an autographed copy of it. Okay. I had two, and I sent one to my my Auntie Cameron in Washington because she's a substitute teacher and is a huge bibliophile and has fed my need for books my whole life. Yeah, she actually gave me my first copy of my very favorite book in the world,
which is
The War for the Oaks by Emma Bull. She's a Canadian author.
Okay. I never read it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Couldn't say.
It's got music and the war between the good and evil fae and rock and roll and sass and sarcasm and a little bit of love and a lot of folklore. It's beautiful. It's written in the 1980s. It's fantastic. Emma Bull, I love you. Write another book.
I don't know. This just briefly, it kind of reminds me of the World of Warcraft trailers where it's like, I don't know, it could go either way. Like
Ragnar Lothbrok is the main character from the World of Warcraft movie. Okay, I've always refused flat out to play World of Warcraft because I have many friends. I mean, we've talked about this before. I've had friends who have ruined D&D groups by playing World of Warcraft too much, and I've always refused because it will steal my soul, and I like having what little soul I have.
Sure.
So I've refused, but I will go see that movie.
Yeah, I'm really.
It has Ragnar.
I just don't. Him. It's so. Like my crapometer is just like, I don't know. It's all over. It's back
cheese.
And forth.
It's got cheese all over it. I think.
I don't know.
But I'll go see it.
I don't
just like I'll go see
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. I'll definitely see it. It looks beautiful.
I think I'm just gonna go watch Avengers: Civil War a bunch more times.
Okay, let's go do that.
Yeah,
let's go right after this.
Okay,
I want to see it again.
All right. But that is all that we have as far as movies and stuff go. So let us jump into the gaming news.
Although I will say,
yes.
I saw the newer trailer for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, and even though I hate Megan Fox,
I
hate Megan Fox so much. Like,
Jennifer's Body, it's a classic, right? I mean, come on.
Pardon me, I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
She's such a great actress, right? I mean,
if you mean she has a great back, yeah, you're right. Okay. She does, and from what I hear, she's atrocious to work with on set. But that's just what I hear. The spoofs and the lines, I think, are going to be kind of funny. I don't know. I didn't see the first one.
It was pretty bad.
It's got her in it, and
it was pretty bad.
An immediate nix for me.
It was.
The second one, I don't know.
I'm gonna say
kind of funny.
I'm gonna say spoilers for original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, Will Ferrell is in that movie.
Whoa.
As like the guy who works at the news company who wants to date Megan Fox.
Oh, the douche?
Yeah, sort of. But and then he like it's like it was like they just copied his lines wholesale out of an 80s movie about like, oh, April, why can't we go out? I'm so into you, and I'm pretending to be suave, but I'm actually just a big dork, and blah blah blah. And it's just like, what? Whoopi Goldberg is in that movie as her editor who won't like publish her stories about turtles that are also ninjas because that's insane. And then for some reason it's like the Ninja Turtles themselves had to be the turtles that were in her father's lab when she was a kid and then were exposed.
That's dirty.
Her dad's experiments were the thing that turned them.
I see what's going on here. They're trying to give her like a credible storyline to tie her more into the movie because boobs sell. I see.
Which
is why they haven't brought back the yellow suit, because it would cover too much skin and then people wouldn't want to see the movie.
I see.
I understand now. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
I'm saying Baxter Stockman or GTFO. You can keep your Casey Joneses. You can keep,
like Casey Jones in the original.
Krang and Shredder. Bring in the Neutrinos and Baxter Stockman, and maybe what was the crocodile guy? Leather face, leather neck, leather something.
Yeah, and the dude with the brain.
The Krang, yeah.
Krang.
I think Krang is going to be in here because I'm pretty sure that's a technodrome in the trailer. Like there's a big circle in the sky, right?
Nice.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, it was funny when I went to go see Civil War. I went with a friend of mine who is not just fully immersed head to toe in trailers and geek and stuff every single week of my life. And it was amazing because the trailers that came on before Civil War were like Rogue One and Doctor Strange and these, and
I didn't get that group of trailers.
Yeah.
I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a really great new trailer for Suicide Squad, which I'm still really pumped about.
Suicide Squad was another of the ones. And it's funny because she just had no idea that any of these movies existed, and she's just like, "What? There's a new Star Wars movie with this lady?" And I'm like, "What?
She been living under a rock?
Fucking
or what,
Sherlock." Well,
tell her to come hang out with us.
Yeah, she likes I don't know, Glee. Whatever.
Glee's cool. I dug Glee for the first 2 seasons before it got weird.
It doesn't.
And then they kicked my favorite character off the show because she couldn't work with Rachel, whatever the hell her name is.
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea what any of that means.
Santana, the sassy Latina.
Nope.
She's hot.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
She's such a great singer. Oh, such a great singer. She was so underrated in that show. So underrated.
So many feelings about
I do.
Glee.
I have all the feelings. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's kick off the gaming news with a thing that I'm sure is going to make every single person, or at least 65% of video game fans furious. Just absolutely furious. Apparently, there's going to be a new Star Wars Battlefront next year. Their last one came out last year, and I don't know. Have you played Battlefront at all? I mean, probably not, right?
Briefly. Yeah. I've not played all of the franchise by any means.
Okay. A lot of people were just desperately pissed off at Star Wars Battlefront. They didn't like the gameplay. They didn't like the action. They didn't like the fact that it didn't have a single-player campaign.
Right.
They didn't like the fact that it had a $50...
Lots of hype. People were really mad.
Yep.
I saw that.
It didn't have a $50... It did have a $50 season pass for what was essentially like 6 maps and some new heroes and stuff like that. Yeah, kind of just garbage. So, yeah, people didn't like it. Now, I've actually found that worked to my advantage, because it means that all of the super hardcore people who love to play online video games and take them super serious, they've all gone back to Halo and Destiny and those games, and have left all of us Babytown Frolics to just just wave our hands and run around in a circle and go, "Yay, Star Wars! I love it!" John and I played it for our Sunday stream when the new expansion came out, and it was just like 3 hours of fun and shooting stuff and being a Jedi and like, yay.
Who doesn't love that?
Well, I don't know. This is 2016. It seems like a lot of people get all bent out of shape about whatever, but that's just...
people just look for an excuse to be mad. That's all that is.
Yep. But EA had an earnings call where they basically said that they're going to have another Battlefront next year, and that it's probably going to have things from the new movies, because the previous one was just from the Tridge. So I don't know, maybe you'll be getting some stuff from Rogue One and from Force Awakens, maybe even some stuff that's going to be in whatever Episode 8 is going to be titled next year. I, for one, think that's great, because there's also... Respawn Entertainment, the guys that made Titanfall, are making a Star Wars game, and that's going to be good. And then there's also Visceral, I believe, is making the one that Amy Hennig, who penned most of the Uncharted franchise, is writing. Another,
so good.
I think that if you have a bunch of Star Wars games coming out, and this franchise is multiplayer only, and then you also have a bunch of single player games, great, wonderful, good on you.
I don't know how I feel about this whole "there's going to be a game every year" business. Well, actually, I do know how I feel about that. But
how do you feel about it?
Quality over quantity.
Okay.
It's the same thing that makes me worry about the movies. I'm like, the fact that you're putting the pressure on yourself to release one every year makes me feel like you're going to burn out in like the next 5 years or so. Like you're going to be strong for maybe the first couple, but then people are going to get so over inundated with it that the novelty will wear off and they'll stop giving a crap.
Sure. Well, it's like
I'm not saying wait 20 years or anything. But I'm just saying, take your time, bros. Take your time.
Well, it's like I've said about Assassin's Creed. This is the first time in like 7-8 years that there's not going to be an Assassin's Creed game this year, and I'm like, that's good because
cleanse the palate.
Yeah, by putting one out every year, stuff like that, stuff like Call of Duty, where there's got to be one every single year, means that we don't have any time to get hyped up and anticipation of a new thing. That's why I was way more excited about Metal Gear than I was about
it's something different. It's got a different flavor to it, a different feel, different storyline. You can get excited about it again. And it's like we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, I think, about if you rush how quickly the game comes out and then you're producing another one, you don't have the opportunity to go back and like replay and get 100% and, like fully flesh out that game.
Yeah.
The quicker another game is coming out, the more it's going to be like, oh, I don't need this toy anymore. Give me a new one. And then it's like that consumer driven.
Yeah.
Give me a game for the love of the game, not because you feel like you have to meet a quota.
I don't know. I do think that the one thing that makes this, that I think might make this a better situation is the fact that you have 3 different reputable companies making 3 different Star Wars games. So it's not like we're going to crank out a Battlefront game every year from here into eternity.
That's
it's like
true. It's different crews.
Yeah.
So it won't be as like inundated, I guess.
Yeah, you have 2 years between Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Then you'll have the Visceral one and then the Respawn one. And I'd be really happy if like one of those games is totally a Jedi game and the other one is totally not Jedis, because I personally could go for some Star Wars that isn't just about laser wizards, right? Like, just
you hurt my heart.
Stormtroopers, or
that's
like
all I want is laser wizards.
Papers, please.
As a motherfucking sorcerer, that's all you need.
But every single game they put out, it's like it's gotta. I mean, even Dark Forces. By the second game, they had to be like, "Oh, it turns out Kakatar's actually a Jedi after all," and it's like, "Oh, but he was just a smuggler in the first one." I like that.
That's true. I dig that. But I mean, hi, have you met Star Wars?
No, I have.
We're Star Wars. We have Jedi.
I know.
Welcome.
I know. But I just slightly less Jedi, slightly fewer.
Jedi and Starfighters. That's all they've got.
I keep saying I really want like a comedy.
Don't get mad.
Or a drama set in the Star Wars universe that doesn't have any Jedis. It's just like, because it's a fully fleshed out universe.
Good old-fashioned love story, folks. Get on it.
I want a goofy comedy. I want a goofy buddy cop movie on Coruscant with like a bumbling Trandoshan. And
we need a movie about Han and Chewie back in the day when they were smuggling, just being smugglers.
Well, they're doing that.
They are doing that?
Yeah.
That makes me happy. I'm behind.
They actually just they casted the guy who's going to be Han Solo, the younger guy who's going to be Han Solo.
Who is it?
Bring it up. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, sorry. I've been in a cave. I'm in the middle of of doing like pre-production on a new film, and it's been like, oh, by the way, I need 100 extras for a riot with flamethrowers in a week.
It's so
like that's literally what I'm casting right now.
Like so the way that it's running is that so this year it's Rogue One, next year's Episode 8, and then the year after that is their next side story, which is going to be a Han Solo, young Han Solo thing. And they got this.
I did hear about this. I'm silly.
Alden,
I haven't seen who they cast.
Enrin Reich.
Who is he? He looks European.
I have no idea. What the name like? He was in Beautiful Creatures.
Didn't see it.
He was in a movie with Natalie Portman.
What movie?
He's got chest hair.
Okay. I'm not opposed.
Like this is what I get with the Google image search, and it's like, did you mean chest hair?
Hey, darling, try IMDb.
Yep. Okay.
Films he's been in.
All right. So.
He was in Hail Caesar. Oh.
Yeah. Beautiful Creatures, Hail Caesar, Stoker, which I still haven't seen.
Stoker. What is that?
It's like a weird. No, wait. I did. No, I did see that.
What is that? Is that like Bram Stoker? Like Dracula?
No, it's real strange. It's like a young lady and she wants to kill people but she doesn't know why. It's weird. It's a good movie, but it's very strange. So let's see.
Dig it.
Yellow Birds, Hail Caesar, Running Wild, Maple Leaves, Blue Jasmine, Teenage.
I have seen none of these movies.
A Dentist.
I'm failing. I'm behind.
CSI crime scene investigation, and he was on Supernatural.
Oh.
On the episode Wendigo.
That was a good episode.
Ben Collins. So
interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, up and comer on my radar, at least.
Yeah, we'll see.
Groovy, welcome to the fold. Han, you gotta save Han.
Actually, I mean, I keep wondering whether when they did their big purge of all the backstory, I swear to God, Han Solo was an Imperial pilot who
had this discussion.
Yeah, took Chewie and ran away. I just want to see him win the Millennium Falcon in a game of Sabak.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
With Lando.
I want that story in my life.
Yeah, 5 minutes short. That's all I care about. All right, so we got a little bit more Disney/Star Wars news. There was actually some footage that came out of a canceled, looks like a Star Wars RTS. That was pretty cool. I don't know if you actually got a chance to watch this.
I did.
If it got pulled all the way down. Oh, it got pulled all the way down.
Oh, no, that's right. I tried to watch it and I couldn't because it was gone.
I think that it was pretty cool. I mean, it was basically just an RTS that was set in the Mos Eisley spaceport. The giant AT-ATs walking through, and there's a little Luke Skywalker that buffed a bunch of people. And I don't know, it looked great. Star Wars is another one of those things where I just have to wonder. There are a lot of really shitty Star Wars video games, and I don't understand why. Like
over inundation.
Maybe. I think that it was just because for a while there you could put the word Star Wars on anything and it would sell. You could sell any amount of it.
People got burned out.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you put out crap.
Plus the prequels, I think that all the games were for prequels for a while there. But I don't know. This game, if you guys could find a video of it, it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's been taken down off of YouTube and Vimeo at this point, which is stupid because I don't know. It's already out there, so why bother taking it down?
Let it.
Disney.
Seriously, just let it.
But I'll tell you what, Disney is no stranger to making dumb moves because
this one.
They have completely pulled the plug on Disney Infinity.
I can see that you're upset about this.
It was weird. I really enjoyed Disney Infinity. I mean, the first time you were on Rage Select was, episode 7. Yeah, Disney Infinity. Apparently it's just not making them the money that they want, and so they're just pulling the plug. They're also shuttering Avalanche, which sucks because Avalanche was a studio that existed for many years before.
20 years, I think they said.
Yeah,
like that.
Disney bought it, put them in charge of Disney Infinity. Then Disney Infinity didn't work out, and they've dissolved it.
And we're done here. Good day.
Yeah, I think
take your toys and go home. Literally.
You may not know this, but I've actually been watching Disney for probably about a decade, and they do not know what they want to do as far as making video games goes. They will buy a studio, they'll make a game, it'll do okay, then they'll dissolve that studio. Then they'll spend 3 or 4 years outsourcing their properties to other studios. Then decide, we don't want to do that. Let's bring another in-house studio.
Yep.
So then they'll form one and they'll make a shitty game. So then they'll buy another studio and they'll make a pretty decent game. Then they'll dissolve that studio, and it's just like, how the hell are you so bad at this? It's not a mystery. Like, if goddamn EA can do it, then you can keep a studio together.
I've just not really been impressed with Disney's direction in general in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's another one of those. Underwhelmed.
It's one of those no-brainer things to me, though, that's like, you have all of these properties. They're just waiting for video games. An MMO set in the Aladdin universe, or
that'd be cool. I dig that.
A Mario Kart game when Wreck-It Ralph came out. The Wreck-It Ralph was had a whole Mario Kart game, right? I don't know if there was one, but like they don't seem to be able to put together. There should be 8 Pirates of the Caribbean games at this point. I mean,
yeah, it's called Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. Yeah, well, when is Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out? Is it
Not
next
till
year?
After March next year now.
Not
till after 15, whenever that's coming out.
Not to mention the fact that Marvel owns Disney or Disney owns Marvel, and that there should
Scares me.
All of the MCU games should be out there. There should be more Avengers games. I watched Civil War and I was like, dude, I want to play this part.
Just stop fucking it up for everybody.
Yeah. A Star Wars Episode 7 tie-in game, a Rogue One tie-in game, some Star Wars game, or some Marvel game, or some Disney game. I mean, shit, you could have sold You know how many copies of a really crappy Frozen game you could have sold?
True.
People were so into that.
Nobody wants to play a video game with girls in it, though. Pardon me, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I don't understand. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
Don't get it.
Anyway, all right, so let's move on to our giant trailer apocalypse and start with the one trailer that we didn't get to see. Well, last week when we decided to record the podcast, there was a teaser for this trailer out. And so John and I got to talk about basically just a picture of a guy's face. But since then, the most confusingly named game of all time, Battlefield 1 trailer has come out. And
it's pretty.
Boy, it's real good looking.
It's real pretty.
They also got a great song. I've kind of had to bring myself to the realization that they're always going to take some pop song and put it in the trailer, regardless of what it is.
They did real good with this one, though.
Yep, but the whole Seven Nation Army thing worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it did.
So, yeah, new Battlefield, and it's a World War I game. And we kind of already knew that, but seeing it kind of like live and in person.
So pretty. I would play that. I don't even dig war games particularly. I mean, I played some of the Call of Duty, but it's not my genre of choice.
Yeah.
But I'd play it.
I think that it's got to be, I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm not, historian or anything, but from what I can see, it looks like it's definitely got to be.
I just want to take that cudgel or that mace, whatever the fuck you're calling it, and I just want to beat people's brains in.
I'm pretty sure that's a grenade.
No, it was a stick.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure
it was a stick with
I'm sure it's got a pin on the end of it that you could throw and stick it to stuff.
I don't know that we were looking at the same thing.
The thing with the spikes on it, right? I'm totally wrong about that.
That's just like a mace.
That?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a grenade?
I
think that's just a beaten stick with spikes in it.
Let me before I get to let's see.
I was hoping it was a beaten stick. I'm going to be disappointed if that's a grenade.
Well, why? It's both.
I mean, I like a grenade and all, but I just want the stick and I just want to beat people with it.
One spike
stick thing. Mace.
Grenade, spike, trench spike, spiked helmet. Say grenade. I don't know. It seems like in World War I, the Pickelhaube.
Oh.
Is that what it is? No.
That's
wait. Well,
totally
that's not.
Whoa, that's cool looking though. I changed my mind. I want to beat people with that.
I don't even know what these things are. Okay.
Not it.
They're probably just this.
That's closer to what that was.
Trench warfare. That's just a stick with a bunch of nails in it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what that was.
Okay.
It was just a stick with a bunch of nails in it.
Okay. So it's just the equivalent of a baseball bat with a chain and a bunch of nails.
Yes. Blunt and effective.
Okay. I would have thought, like a bayonet or something, but
that's
whatever.
Fun too. Oh, that's fun too. My favorite gun that I've ever gotten in Borderlands 2 is a sniper rifle with a fucking bayonet on it. So just in case you can't get them long range, if one of those psychos gets right up in your shit, just stab right through the throat with the bayonet.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
But yeah, this definitely looks like it's real late in the war because there's tanks and there's planes.
Yeah, it's late.
And there's stuff like that, which,
it's probably going to take you through the end of the war. Like, that's probably the end of the game.
I wonder if they'll have like a mode where it'd be interesting to have. I don't know. It'd be really interesting if they took this opportunity to have like a the thing that would make this, and I'm almost 100% sure that they wouldn't do this because it would be very difficult to make maps with a much larger number of people on them, where the maps were like trench movements, and that it never stopped, right? So that it was just like you can push forward and then the other side can push back, and you're trying to retake area, but it happens like over the course of days, not over the course of a single match, but like keeps going.
Yeah.
Because that was what actually happened. But I don't know. Yeah, they make World War I look real saucy. And if just for comparison, 26 million, almost 27 million views, and this is 1.4 million up votes and 25,000 down votes, as opposed to poor Infinite Warfare, which is now up to 1.9 million downvotes. What do you do with that if you're Activision? I mean, you
go home and rethink your life.
Maybe rethink what the next game is going to be, but like, I mean, there's no way for them to change Infinite Warfare, it's already done. Like, you look at the story trailer and all the voice acting, it's done.
It's done.
It's ready to come out. So
I just say change the title and make it its own thing, and then all the problems are solved.
That's a good question to ask our audience is, if Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was called, I don't know, the shooty bang bang Infinite Warfare, like, would you feel
shooty bang bang Infinite Warfare? Sign me up.
Yeah, I think we could do that. All right, next up on the trailer parade, not really much of a trailer, but then it's not
trailer parade.
It's really not really a franchise that demands trailers. Civilization 6.
It was pretty.
Has been announced.
I dug it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
some changes. No stacking. No more stacking for you.
What?
No more army stacking. That was the articles.
Oh, okay.
You can't stack things on top of each other now.
That was in That was in Civilization 5. You couldn't stack anymore. Like, I know that because my dad's big into Civilization. That's why I wouldn't play it. Or was it 4 and then they brought it back?
And one of the other weirdlings covered that one. Mark Gardner covered that one for us.
Yeah. Have you ever played Civilization before?
I've watched him play it. I haven't played it. It looked interesting.
I can't really
boobied.
Yeah, I think that her boobs are blurred out in this trailer. But yeah, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of people who like Civilization. Civilization After Earth came out like 2 years ago, which is kind of supposed to be like Alpha Centauri, but I just can't anymore. Of all the things to suck away my life, Civilization is one of those games where it's like you start playing it, and then you look up and it's 12 hours later, and you're just like,
yeah. I've got enough of those in my life. 6 hours of Final Fantasy VII today was enough for me. Thank you.
How close are you to the end of Final Fantasy VII?
I'm like, at this point, maybe half of the way through disc 2.
Yeah.
I'm about to go to the underwater reactor.
And it's 4 total? 4 discs? 3 discs? Okay. All right.
And the third disc is pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the content happens.
Are you going to do all the chocobo farming?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually debating when I'm going to stop continuing the game story and
kill all the weapons.
Yeah.
Never managed to do that.
I'm almost there. I've got my party right around level 50, 52.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite boss enough to do it.
We'll
get there. Give it another couple days.
I never managed to kill the weapons in Final Fantasy VII, but
really,
yeah,
it's a good time.
I think. Well, I've always have a burnout point in Final Fantasy where
get out of here.
I marathon.
Get it out. Just get out now.
I hit about 35 hours, and then
all
I just
day,
kind of
every day
lose steam and go. I
was recently asked to do a 24-hour, 100% completion stream on Final Fantasy VII.
Wow.
I'll do it.
You can do that 24 hours?
If I get enough donors, I'd do it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever done, the longest stream I've ever done was when I was in the loading barn. It was 12 hours, and that was grueling. But then that was...
I did 10 for the Reuathon, 10 or 11. I can't remember how many it was.
Bunch of people.
I'd do it. I mean, I'd take breaks in there.
Yeah.
But I'd do it.
Anyway, Civilization 6, I don't know that I have much to say outside of it looks like a Civilization game. Looks like they say that they're adding in some new mod support to it. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really have a hell of a lot to say about Civilization.
I read the trailer and I was like, yeah, I know this is the thing. I've seen stuff. Cool. Did it. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, moving on to things that I also don't really care all that much about. Homefront: The Revolution has another trailer. I really just cannot bring myself to be in the least bit excited about this game.
No.
Comes out next Tuesday. And I don't know.
It's pretty.
I don't know if you know the namesake, but original Homefront was a despised game. It was written by the guy who wrote the original Red Dawn, and it was about resistance happening after the North Korean army invades and takes over the United States, and you're part of a resistance cell that's trying to, generally hated, just real.
I love that she just like slides this knife into his throat real slow and like buttocks.
I don't know. It's
no resistance whatsoever. Just like
it's so generic. Like I watch this trailer and it just looks so generic to me. I mean, it just looks like a cross between Dead Island and I don't know, Far Cry maybe. I don't know. It just I can't see anything setting this apart from a whole slew of other first-person shooters that I played recently.
I mean, it's pretty much just first-person shooter war city. Now. Like that's all the games.
I mean, I think maybe there's been previous trailers that have focused on this, but the other thing is that they haven't really sold me on the fact that this occupation is either terrible. I don't know. There's nothing really here that's really float my boat about this particular game. I don't know. Make another Freedom Fighters, people.
Yeah, I'm over inundated already. I'm already bored with all of these games. I'll play. I might play the World War I. I'll play that one.
Battlefield 1.
Yeah, but the rest of them, I'm just like, they're like every other game. I'd rather go play Uncharted 4.
Yeah. Ooh, Uncharted 4. I need to finish up Uncharted 4.
Yes, you do.
Next up on the list, though, is something that I am really excited about. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. The new Phoenix Wright game coming to the 3DS.
It looks so cute.
I love Phoenix Wright. It's so goofy and nutty and just bananas.
I would play this in a minute.
Have you ever played?
When it comes out, you're gonna call me and we're gonna cover this one together.
Well, I would if I had any way of recording 3DS footage, but I don't, unfortunately. Sorry. But have you ever played any of the
over your shoulder?
Any of the Phoenix Wright games?
I'm not.
They are amazing. And this one takes place in a foreign land where there are no lawyers because apparently they could just look into a well and see what happened in the crime.
See your soul.
Yep. And then Phoenix Wright comes in and he's like, nobody should have a trial without a lawyer. I'm fucking Phoenix Wright.
I love it.
Objection.
I love his tie and his suit, all modern, and everything else is all period.
Well, I like the fact, too, that
his hair.
The judge is the same judge from all the rest of the Phoenix Wright games, except that he's just got a big beard and he's dressed in this kind of like old-timey.
Sassy.
Yeah. Rafa,
she's carrying Yuna's wand though from Final Fantasy X.
That actually looks. I probably am missing something about this, but the jade or whatever it is on her staff actually looks a lot like the sigil that Phoenix Wright's like paralegal wears. His psychic friend from one of the other games. Yeah,
maybe
so
that's meant to be.
Yeah, but I tell you what, as much as I love Phoenix Wright, you guys, you've made a lot of Phoenix Wright games. Capcom, when am I going to get Ghost Trick 2? Because Ghost Trick
good call.
Was fantastic, and I want a new Ghost Trick game.
Play that. It looks so pretty.
Next
Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice.
And is there a release date for this? September.
Yeah, September.
September
right
2016. Yep. Next up, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine. There's not a whole hell of a lot going on in this trailer. There's a peacock, but those peacocks are assholes.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same franchise that Vin Diesel did the movie for, right?
No. That was The Last Witch Hunter.
That's it. There's the witch in the title and it threw me off.
Which wasn't a bad movie at all. This is actually based on...
It was funny, I dug it.
If you've never played a Witcher game, this is based on a series of, I believe they're Polish fantasy books.
Nice.
And the third one, this is an expansion for The Witcher 3, which I wasn't really able to fully get into, but other people have said was like the best game of last year of all time. Unfortunately,
that was on my list of games that I considered buying when I got my PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I might have played. I'll play it eventually.
I don't know if I actually have
other games that I've got to play first, but it's on my list.
I don't have a physical copy of it, or I would let you borrow it, but it's the only downside. But in this trailer, there's not
Sounds of Death. That looks cool.
Not a whole hell of a lot to talk about. It looks like, I mean, I can say that the land that he's in, like the trailer just consists of him and these knights kind of going up to this castle and talking about how everything is super cool, but then there seems to be some like demonic undertones. I'll say that this particular land looks a lot prettier than the lands where he goes normally. And there does seem to be some demon face eating going on.
Yeah, no game is complete without demon face eating.
Yep.
Hum nom nom nom. Brains.
And that is the end of the month. So if you need an expansion for The Witcher, May 31st.
Coming to you.
Got you covered. And finally, on the trailer parade, I am not the biggest Pokemon in the world, but they have...
That's okay. You know, we're not judging you.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to be the biggest. It's about what you do with it.
Actually, it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I know that there's so many people. I can't wait for the day. There's going to be a day. They're doing Power Rangers now. There's going to be a day within the next decade where Hollywood says we're making a live action Pokemon movie and all of your Pokemon are going to look wrong and they're going to be stupid looking.
No, don't invoke that. Now I need a shower.
It's going to happen.
Did you see though?
What?
the pictures, the stills of Rita Repulsa.
Yes.
Hot.
Yes.
Elizabeth Banks.
I have no.
Love you.
I have literally no stakes in Power Rangers, so people
I
are
don't know
just
how
like.
I feel about that.
There was the armor then last week where people were like, "Oh, they all look like Iron Man." I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Moving on.
Anyway, so new Pokemon trailer, and they've announced. I don't know if this is a thing they do every single time, but the new starter Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a safe lead
In Pokemon Sun and Moon. So you have
I like the owl one. His little bow tie is so cute.
Yeah, what's this one? Rowlet, who is a grass flying Pokemon.
And then Litten.
Litten, who apparently little fire cat that hawks
fireballs. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, fire hairballs at people.
Yes.
That's gross, Litten.
It's
Come on.
disturbing and I love it.
And Papillo, who is
He's a seal.
A seal with a clown nose. So
I don't like the clown nose. It disturbs me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
What do you have general clown problems?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played.
Came from a clown. I'm just saying.
What's that?
Nothing good ever came from a clown. That's all I'm saying.
What about the movie It? That came from a clown.
Horrible.
That was awesome.
Horrible.
That was awesome.
No.
Tim Curry. He's
horrible.
He's not even remotely scary. He's just Tim Curry.
Horrible.
Okay. All right. What about
I do love me some Tim Curry though.
Juggalos? That's. I want you guys to see the face that Jennifer's making at me right now. Well, what about...
You get no response.
Cirque du Soleils or whatever.
Cirque du Soleil?
Okay, sure. Clowns. I say everything wrong, so I just...
You do.
Yeah.
But I judge you silently.
They've got clowns?
Silently.
No? No clowns at all?
No.
Death to Smoochie?
No.
No?
F that.
Okay.
Creepy. Teletubbies? Fuck no.
No, wait, no. Which one was it?
That's out of my nightmare.
No, not Death to Smoochie. Shakes the Clown. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
with Bobcat.
Still no. I didn't like Death to Smoochie either. None of that shit.
Okay.
Get that out of here.
All right.
Get your Barneys and your Teletubbies and shit out of here. Get it out.
Fair enough. How about Fire Emblem? Can we keep
Yes,
Fire Emblem?
We can keep Fire Emblem all day long.
Okay, well, apparently Nintendo has said that
free
Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem mobile games are going to be, yes, free to start.
Mm-hmm. They hook you in, and then once you're addicted, they jack the price up.
I can see it for Animal Crossing now.
I can see it in your eyes.
That they're going to make you buy, or that it's going to be like, oh, do you want that sofa? And do you not have enough bells? Well, you can totally go to the store
buy
and
it here.
buy more bells.
I hate that.
I can't imagine. I'm sure that they'll find a way to do it, but I can't imagine Fire Emblem. There's one article that suggested that since Fire Emblem has permadeath, that they might have like an item to let you bring permadeath characters back to life that then cost real money to get.
No,
I don't know.
No.
Free to play.
For $59.99, you too can bring Aerith back to life.
Free to play is the bane of my fucking existence. It's so terrible. It forces developers to have to be sleazebags, basically.
I don't like it.
I just don't like it. But I'm still willing to give these a shot because, I have something on my phone.
I guess.
For pooping and stuff. But, I don't know. Nintendo... I still just don't know about Nintendo with the whole NX Wii U.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, well, one thing that Nintendo is doing is they are dropping the price of their crappiest mobile system.
Yeah, because they're about to come out with a new one.
Yeah, the 2DS to $79.99 from $99.99, which
big surprise.
Is anybody buying the 2DS?
Nope, that's why they dropped the price.
Have you ever seen one of those things in real life? It's awkward as hell.
It's super awkward. I don't like it. I don't dig it. That's why I don't have it.
I don't know. I dropped the price on the new 3DS. Let everybody get the new 3DS. New 3DS is excellent. And I don't know. Anyway, I spent the last 3 weeks bitching about Nintendo. I'm not going to bitch about Nintendo anymore. But hey, if you want to play some 3DS games and you want to do it on the cheapy cheap, now you can do that. So $79.99.
I'm really proud of you.
Yep. That's the good news. Quotey fingers.
Quotey fingers.
The bad news is, unfortunately, with that whole earnings call, it looks like Mass Effect is getting moved to
womp, womp.
2017.
But I dig why they're doing it. Like I've been saying, don't rush it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rush it. Take your time and make it good, because then you'll piss people off if you don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already had, I know that it's kind of cold comfort, but with Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 both coming out in Q3 of this year, stacking Mass Effect Andromeda right up on top of that would be like, you do want to space that shit out a little bit.
Yes, you do. Give us time.
What was it last year where Ubisoft put out like 2 big games in the same month? And it was just like,
I think they talked about that.
Hell are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Anyway, yep.
They were just excited. They couldn't wait anymore.
I do though. I mean, we haven't seen any actual footage from Mass Effect Andromeda, so E3 is coming up next month.
Yeah, June
it'll
12th.
be nice.
I'm really excited. I'm going to be there. The film company that I've been shooting the cave films with, the VR films, they're going to be launching all of the films that we've been working on recently at E3. So any Rage Select fans, select few that want to come hang out, I will be at E3.
Well, there you go.
All 3-4 days of it, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 days.
Very excited. Yeah, it's like Tuesday through Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday,
come
Thursday.
hang out with me.
Yep.
Mayhem's Muse. I'll be there.
I know we definitely have fans in LA.
Come hang out.
But...
Oh, and if you have any fans that are in San Diego, hit me up. I might need a couch to crash on in July for San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Mass Effect Andromeda, kind of feel like they should put that up this year.
I want it to happen.
I just want to see it. I just want to see some gameplay.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want to play it and cuddle it late at night.
Let's see. Speaking of late at night, I guess this is a horrible segue.
No, it works.
My segues are all off today.
Today?
Well, I've never really felt like I needed to spend a lot of time cultivating segues. I mean, it's not like I talk for a living or anything.
Arkham.
Yep, Batman. They're putting out. There's a listing that on what was this, like Italian GameStop or something.
Yes.
That June 10th of this year, they're probably going to be putting out Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City HD on the PS4 and the Xbox One in one collection called Return to Arkham, with all of the DLC added in, which is cool. I mean, those are good games. Have you played either one of those?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Arkham Asylum is still my favorite of the entire series. Like, I figured once they kind of got out into the city, it started getting a little loose.
That's what everybody that I know, who I know that is a fan of those games says.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it.
Yeah. But that is a good reason, as good a reason as any, for those of you who have not played it to get out there.
Get up on this.
Get out and get some Batman in your life. Now let's see.
I'm more interested in a Barbara Gordon game. Just throwing that out there. Give me Batgirl.
I'm gonna go back to my whole Star Wars thing. There's a whole DC universe. Everything doesn't have to be about Batman and Superman.
Seriously.
There's Robin. There's Nightwing. There's Barbara Gordon. There's Huntress.
Seriously.
There's Martian Manhunter. There's Ms. Martian. Just go do
Black Canary. There's
something.
Every freaking buddy in the world.
Yep. Do something.
Give me a Birds of Prey game and an actual decent Birds of Prey movie or TV show.
Yeah. I'm just.
Oh, I needed a shower after watching the TV series. I've been watching all the Barbara Gordon stuff. And they just destroyed the comics. It just destroyed them. They were like, we're going to take the name of a couple of these characters and then we're going to switch their backstories all up.
Wait, in which show?
Scramble them. Birds of Prey.
Oh, okay.
Scramble them up in a blender and then we're going to turn it into a drama.
I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of wonders if there was any way for that to be. I'm still surprised that, of course, I've heard some people saying that the Flash TV show is starting to go a little bit downhill.
Oh, no, I haven't started it yet. We've been working through Green Arrow and we're going to do the Flash after that.
And then I've heard
so much Green Arrow.
Mixed results on Supergirl as well.
Really? I've heard people say they actually dug it.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of people say that they liked it, and I've heard some people be like, meh about it, but I don't know. It's still surprising that there is a Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl TV show, which I guess kind of goes directly in the face of my bitching about, get some other superheroes out there. But
well, get another plot line out there. Green Arrow is basically a glorified
Batman,
younger pretty boy version of Batman. Yeah, it's the same shit, same storyline, just an island rather than a big mansion. Whatever.
Just get the real bitchy Oliver Queen out there. Like it is Oliver Queen in the show, isn't it? It's not Connor. Okay.
Yeah, it's Oliver.
Okay.
Ollie.
All right, we got a couple more news stories here. I'm going to skip this one. Konami's sales were up. This is a real dull story.
Yeah, I was like, whoopee, sales are up and fitness is up and whatever is down.
Well, it's only relevant because
sales meeting, end of quarter. Get your shit together.
Konami has decided to suspend all game development except for the PES soccer series.
Right.
Which is just like, fuck you. Okay, if you're going to do that, then release the franchises like Silent Hill and Metal Gear and some of the things that...
let somebody else make a game, please.
Yeah, let somebody else make them if you're not going to make them. And
like
run your health club.
Like with this one.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, okay, so yeah, in another kind of a bummer of a story, we got a bunch more bummers here. Microsoft Lionhead Studios got shut down, and apparently... well, I think that they might still be in the process of shutting down. But apparently, there's some interest in people buying Lionhead, but Microsoft refused to throw the Fable franchise into the mix, which is what they wanted out of it.
They better be doing something with it is all I'm going to say about that.
No, they'll just hoard
they just
it.
Don't want to let anybody else play with the toys, but they're not going to play with them. But I don't want you to put your hands on my toys.
It's like that motherfucking Fantastic Four movie. Like,
oh, God.
Yeah, just like...
Sorry, I just threw up all over my microphone.
Oh, no, the Fantastic Four rights are going to be released back to the people who should have them. Quick, make a really crappy movie so that we can continue to have the rights to it. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Nobody who worked on that movie obviously cared about... anyway.
No.
Anyway.
No.
Heart goes out to all the Lionhead people.
Ruining Sue Storm.
I wish that...
God, now I'm thinking about it. I wish I could get that hour and a half of my life back.
I was
even multitasking while I watched the movie. I was making cheddar herb biscuits, and I really wish that I could have that time back.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to scrub my brain out and cry and throw things because they ruined one of my favorite Marvel characters.
It's so easy.
Craptastic.
No, it's so easy to make a Fantastic Four movie. Like, the archetypes are all built for, you just plug in any generic story in there and it should work. It's just, I don't understand how.
Whatever.
I don't understand how you fuck up Fantastic Four. Anyway,
easily, apparently. It's done it 3 times in the last 15 years.
I didn't, this is going back to last week's podcast, but I did not dislike the first Fantastic Four.
I just dislike everything that they've ever done with Sue Storm.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Okay. So yeah, looks like Lionhead is... I mean, how the fuck are you gonna keep Lionhead? What else do they have? Black and White? I mean, I don't even know what other properties they would have to sell as a studio. Anyway,
they have the studio space. They've got those plush leather chairs.
I don't know.
Some microphones.
Such a pain in the ass. I mean, why doesn't Disney buy them?
Oh no!
Then they'll definitely be shut down.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably who was interested in it. They probably wouldn't do it.
And then let's see. More bad news. This is actually a story that I just added.
This is sad.
Today, a bunch of my friends and a bunch of other folks here in Austin, apparently Kings Isle came through with the axe and cut about, I think some of the early reports showed some like 80 people out of Kings Isle. So,
what is that about? Why is this happening right now?
I think that it's
I thought we were on the rise. I thought we were clear. Sales are good.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible that... I mean, the thing about a company like Kings Isle is it might be that they overextended themselves by having too many different properties running that weren't bringing in enough money to support the staff that they had. Because I know that Wizard 101 is just like insanely popular with children, right? And Pirate 101 apparently was also doing very well, but then they also have, like when I was at South by, they had like a mobile game that they're developing. I think that a lot of times you have that question of when you have like, say, a couple properties that are going really well, should you hire on a bunch of new people to try to make a third property? Mm-hmm. And then if you have any fluctuation in the original two, then you might have to do something like this. But
it sucks.
Yeah.
Well, at least Blizzard is still like, they just did a massive hiring spree, I was told.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple friends that just got hired for Blizzard, so there's still hope.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff. I personally know a few people who work at Kings Isle, and that is shitty.
There are some independent studios popping up. I've actually, in the last 2 or 3 months been contacted by 2 or 3 different companies to do voice acting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, none of them have gotten to the actual filming stages yet. They've just been like, what do you charge? What's the going rate for this kind of thing?
Right.
We've got a project, and would you be interested when we get there? So I don't know. Maybe independents are on the rise, I can hope.
I mean, I think this is just between Lionhead and this and Avalanche. It's just a reminder that working in the video game industry, it's a volatile industry. Like,
sure.
You can't just say, I mean, you could maybe say, I'm going to go work for Blizzard and then stay at Blizzard because Blizzard's like a tentpole, right? They're not going anywhere, right? But even companies like King's Isle that were doing very, very well, this happens. I mean, EA constantly will build a studio, make a game, and the game comes out and they dissolve that studio and they all go fuck off. That's not uncommon to hear. Yeah, so it's mostly just stuff like that Avalanche story that really pisses me off. Where I'm like, Avalanche was doing what they were doing, and then you bought them, and then you
fucked it up.
You had a crazy idea.
Their mojo.
Yeah, that they executed beautifully. I might add. I got my little Disney Infinity characters. I love them.
A whole shelf of them.
Yeah. And then when they stopped making enough money for you, you're just like, well, then I guess bye bye.
Done.
Yeah.
Lame. Don't dig it.
All right. And this last story, I don't know. It might cheer a few people up. But apparently, Scott Cawthorn, the maker of Five Nights at Freddy's, has been out there to say Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to consoles.
Woo-woo!
I don't know how that's going to work.
All the spoopy games for you, folks.
Mostly because it seems like a real, like, especially like in the first one. How do you switch between the different cameras fast enough with...
I watched eSwoogie play that. He has this thing where... that's my favorite Twitch streamer. He does this thing where he'll... At the end of every month, all the people that have donated get to pick what game he plays. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the games that they had him play. And he's hilarious. He does not scare well. He threw his keyboard across the room playing Outlast.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
And I watched him play this game. And, yeah, it freaked the fuck out of him.
It's literally jump scare, the video game.
Is. That's all it is. And they dig that.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're.
I dislike that the same reason I dislike clowns. I'm like, they just creep me the fuck out.
Do you don't like the soulless animatronics with their dead eyes?
Oh man, creepy! Like I'm looking at this picture of this teddy bear dude in the top hat, and he's freaking me out from all the way across the room.
Freddy Fazbear there,
yeah. Freaking me out, bro.
Yeah. That's the.
And then we got the little jigsaw doll at the top there. That's creeping me out.
The puppet,
and
yep.
The weird wolf dude that's creeping me out. They're all creepy.
Yep.
Creepy as fuck. Doing your job, game.
Well,
Doing your job.
In the first one, what's the story is that you're the night watchman, and at night the animatronics come to life.
Yeah. That's the one he was playing.
And they want to get you, and they want to shove you into a suit full of mechanics because they think that you're not. They think that you're an animatronic that's out of its costume. So basically, they murder you by shoving you into a suit full of mechanical animatronics and crushing you to death. So
creepy.
Yep. So anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's, good time for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a good. I guess it's a good excuse for people to play Five Nights at Freddy's. I've never been the biggest fan of it, but I like the storyline behind it quite a bit. So
scary animals that come out and kill you.
Oh man, there's a guy online called Game Theorist who has done like 8 videos about this. There's like. This game hides its backstory in environmental clues, kind of like Dark Souls does.
Oh, okay.
There's this huge mystery about the ghost of a kid who was murdered at the original Fazbear thing, and then there was a second one that got closed down, and there was the Night Watchman from that one who was actually luring kids into a room, and then there's the souls of 5 kids that have inhabited the different animatronics.
I see.
Yeah, it's real. It's all over the place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued. Damn it. Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Somebody find me a copy of this and send it to me. I'll play it.
When it's just hell, you can play this on your phone, but
no, I can't. My phone does not have enough memory to play games on it. No.
Okay.
It's too full of modeling and acting pictures and reels to put anything else on it.
Plus throwing your phone in terror when,
No, I don't do that. I don't throw my phone.
Yeah.
No, I value my business model way too much to throw my phone. My phone decided it was going to do we're updating and now we're going to restart. Oh, but we're not going to restart. We're going to give you the iTunes logo and the charge cable thing and refuse to turn back on, and had to take it to the Apple store and thought it was dead completely, and then it wasn't, and it was horrifying. And I had no phone for 3 days, and it was like, I was wrecked.
How do you have no phone for 3 days?
Well, and okay, let me caveat that. It's not like I'm just addicted to text messaging or whatever.
Sure.
I'm an independent contractor. I work as an actor and model, and I book myself for all my gigs. I don't have representation. I'm independent. So that is my method of doing business, is answering emails and phone calls and text messages for business. So if I don't have a phone, I can't work.
Okay.
That's kind of terrifying for 3 days. Yeah. Especially when I'm coordinating a gaming convention and we had just had like a big thing happen that required instant attention and like lots of phone calls, and then my phone died.
Yeah.
So for 3 days, I had no way of contacting those people to put out those fires.
Go get a burner, man.
Well, my mom had asked me to come down to Corpus Christi to help her move some furniture.
Yeah.
And she had hip surgery last year, so I'll be damned if she's going to be moving it herself.
Sure.
I had already planned this trip, and it was the night before I left that this happened. So I had no opportunity to go get it fixed. And Corpus Christi has no Apple store. The closest thing they have is Best Buy.
Go to Walmart and get a burner. Get a burner phone.
I didn't have money for that at the time.
Oh, okay.
It was my between film shoots month, and I just done taxes and paid all my bills and had no money.
Oh, right. When the government takes all of your money because because you're a small business owner.
So they need all my money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And suddenly I have an opinion about politics.
Yay! So that's a whole other story. So we're at the end of the news. That's exciting.
All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it up and take a break. We'll be back in just a minute with the emails.
Woo-woo.
As we answer all of the emails.
We hear your opinions.
Yes.
You've heard our opinions for the last 5 hours. So now it's time for your opinions.
That's all that it is. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back.
All right.
And it's time for questions. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address to send your questions into.
Whoop.
And our first question comes in from our friend Carl, who says,
Hey, Carl.
Hey, everybody. So I, like you, played the Overwatch beta. Also playing Battleborn. Both games have soured me on the multiplayer experience. Each game does not appear to have what I would regard as proper matchmaking. I can't tell you how many matches I have been in where people were twice my level or more. One-sided would be a bit of an understatement.
That's
Furthermore, actually getting a game where people would work together for the objective was like herding cats in both games. Sure, in Overwatch it was mildly better as the game was a bit more focused, but they made up for this with the very annoying part of having the defending team come right up to your spawn location before the start of the match. Not very fair, in my opinion. Still play Helldivers from time to time. At least with that, it manages to push the team working experience right in the person's face. I don't think I'll be getting another multiplayer game. I think I'll stick to the solo experience. At least that way, if I fail a mission, it was just down to me and only me. Carl, you forgot to put in a question there, but I would like to address this anyway.
Fair.
Did you play any of the Overwatch beta?
No, sadly I didn't get to.
No?
I was out of the office. I missed it. I'm mad.
Well, it's 2 weeks and the full game will be out.
But it was free.
Yeah.
I like free.
Well, free is good.
Free is my favorite price, especially when I'm in between film sets and completely broke.
Yeah. Well, I could say that with Battleborn, I haven't really played much of that. I mean, I got it, I played it, and I was like, eh. But with Overwatch, I don't know. I felt like Overwatch actually worked really well because it's objective based. So there's only so much kind of, I guess, dicking around that you can do because, if you're on the team that is pushing the cart from one side of the map to the other, that's what you have to do.
Right.
Now, I will say, I actually talked about on last week's podcast how playing in the Overwatch beta brought out a horrible side of me, where I'm just yelling at my TV because everybody's having a fight over here, and I'm like, we have to push the cart to the next point. It's not about killing that guy. It's about pushing the cart.
They just wanted the hack and slash, baby.
Yep. But I feel, Carl, that what you're describing is maybe not so much at least with Overwatch, it's not a matchmaking problem because Overwatch doesn't have levels. Everybody has the same ability, right? Mm-hmm. Or I guess there are levels, but those levels don't make your characters any more powerful. All the characters are just as they are, at least as far as I could tell in the beta. But what you're describing is kind of, to me, just like every multiplayer game I've played in the last 5 years.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
Have you ever, what was the last time you played a multiplayer game, do you think?
God, and I know I've played one in Halo.
Okay. I feel like since the beginning, it's constantly been a thing where you can never get your team to do what you want them to do.
Never.
And
people are herding cats.
Right. Without a hierarchy, without a military thing where everybody says, okay, you're the leader and we're all going to take instructions from you. It's always been just a horrible free-for-all.
Yeah.
Where you're just trying to capture the objective and you're the only one capturing the objective and the rest of your whole other team is over there crashing a helicopter.
To the world of being goal-driven and not about just hack and slashing.
I
mean, you're the few and the proud and the angered.
I say, Carl, if you want that type of experience, what I would highly suggest is find a game that like 5 of your friends are playing and then just play it with them. Don't play.
Have friends.
Yeah.
Be friends.
Yeah. Don't play with randos because I'll be honest. If I was playing on the server that you were on and I had my headset hooked up and you're like, everybody get to the objective, I'd be like, fuck that guy. I'm doing something over here. I'm not going to the objective. I'm going to do what I'm doing. Like, I
like objectives. I like goals. They're fun.
Just a general disdain for authority,
I'll play.
Where you're like, nope. But yeah, I don't know. I also feel that I've said this a few times, and so it's just as good a time as any to throw this back out there. Any multiplayer game that has levels where you level up as you keep playing the game, I feel like needs to have a thing where if you lose a match, you lose levels.
Ooh.
That way
like that.
You can do like a StarCraft.
There's incentive to do it.
Well, there's a tier then. So it's like if I keep losing, I'm going to constantly be at level 5. Like it's going to keep busting me down until I'm in matches with other level 5 people. And if every time they boost me up to level 7, right, I keep getting my ass kicked back down to level 5, then the game can pair all the people who, as aforementioned, Babytown and Frolics, want to just run around and be children and be like, we could all play in this.
I love that. I need a shirt that says that. I've never heard that until today.
It's a direct rip from Archer, so
That's why I've not heard it. Yeah. I need to watch Archer. Damn, I know I need to watch the show.
New season of Archer is really good. It's really good.
Behind how many seasons are there? Like 1,000?
I think it's a season 6 or 7.
I feel like it's been around for a lot longer than that.
Yeah. I mean, all of the rest of them are on Netflix, I think. So
I need to. All right. Yeah. Now I have something to watch.
Easy enough to do.
It. Sorry, Carl. I'm sending you a virtual hug, bro. It's going to be okay. Just play a different type of game.
Yeah, I would say so. Or I mean, actually, if you really
play with friends,
play with friends, or you can also get into something like Arma. There's a few like really technical shooters where you can't really get anything done unless you're on mic. But
nice.
Yeah, I've never played a multiplayer game where anybody had any real focus. It's kind of just everybody running around screaming with their heads chopped off. So.
Pretty much.
Let's see. Our next question here comes in from Witchrelina, who says, "Greetings, heralds of the new gods. So in my last D&D session, my edition of choice is 4th edition. If you must know, we were heading out to investigate and stop a group that had caused trouble in town. Here we are, expecting your eldritch horror Lord of the Rings, when a series of ridiculous rolls by our monk suddenly changed the session into an episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it was glorious.
Oh goodness!
My question is simple: when playing a tabletop game, could be any, doesn't have to be D&D, do you have any stories of when you went into a session abruptly changed into a completely different kind of genre? If so, care to share? May your hits land critically and your loot drop rare. For the RNG goddess is with us always, Witchrelina.
Oh man,
I picked this out just for you.
I got this one, and oddly enough, I have a story about last night's D&D session.
Nice. All right.
Like, this is my story. Okay. So Wednesday nights, every other Wednesday night when I'm not out of town in Colorado for stuff, I host a Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League campaign setting at Outlaw Moon Games and Toys. This is 5th edition D&D. I liked 3.5 up until 5th edition, but I am loving 5th edition.
Okay.
By the way, the Circle of the Moon Druid, as we were just talking about in our break, is so OP, but I love it. Go watch the Dominion of Esselend campaign, and you can see my exploits as Rowan, the druid.
You dirty min-maxer.
The Dragonlance Chronicles. Hey, I didn't intend to break the campaign. It's not my fault. I was just told that I did the research and was like, wow, this character sounds really awesome. And I wrote this elaborate backstory that was pages long and got really into it. And the DM just wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Like, I told him, this is how my character is going to be. these are the stats, and he didn't research it, and that's not my fault. Anyway, so last night, my adventurers showed up. Now, my session is normally 7 to 8 or 9 people, normally. I'm running the Harried and Hillsfar campaign, which is meant for around 5 people.
Okay.
So in every session previous to this, I've had this weird balance of having to beef up my campaign, and then all of a sudden they get to this point where their rolls just foobar ridiculously, and I have to start fudging rolls to keep TPK from happening, because I don't want them to TPK, because a lot of them are new either to D&D in general. I've got one player who's never played D&D before. And then I've got people who've never played 5th edition before, so they don't know the mechanics of 5th edition.
Okay.
And then I've got people in my campaign who are so beautifully immersed in D&D that they write characters for fun in their free time, like 20 to 30 characters just for fun.
Okay.
So I've got a really nice balance of people that are super serious, people that are just like in it to have fun and goof and slapstick, people that are in it to have an evil alignment and an Adventurers League campaign just so that they can piss people off. I've got everything, like the full gamut. So last night, in a rare occurrence, only 4 adventurers showed up. I'm used to 8 to 9, so double what I've got. And we had no... Do we have a cleric? No, we had the cleric of Nargle, and he's not big on healing, so...
Come on, group. You need a healer.
We do. We have several, none of which showed up. We had a fighter and a monk and a rogue who's never played D&D before, so doesn't quite get the mechanics yet. So it's very, very interesting group. So we went into what I thought was honestly going to be a shorter session, because it was very puzzle-driven, and I figured with 8 minds together, they'd be able to, get bang right through it.
Sure.
2 hours later, we were under this farm where all of these people had mysteriously disappeared, and there were bloodstains everywhere, and they're following these bloodstains down under this barn, under the ground, and there's ritual sacrifices of demons and elves and weird shenanigans, and we get into the final chamber of this section, and there's this weird Frankenstein beast on this table that this elf who's gone just batshit crazy is trying to resurrect and bring this demon lord to life, kind of thing.
Like you do.
Like you do.
On a
and
Wednesday.
There are these weird baboon demons and these weird fleshy humanoid-y kind of things that are feeding themselves to this corpse on the table as a sacrifice. And I watched for 45 minutes as this group completely and totally missed the objective of this room and were just attempting to beat their heads against the wall figuratively and just destroy like the guardians in the room rather than try to stop the ritual in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I've never seen in my life so many critical failures. Like, holy fuck, bros. Go get some sage. Do yourself a little rain dance.
Yeah.
Cleanse your dice.
Yeah.
Talk to them lovingly. Caress them. Something. Because, geez. It was just insane, like one after another. And we had a monk in our group who normally pummels shit with his fists and wrecks shop and does great. And no, just like...
Miss.
Just horrible misses. Back to back to back. I had no words. There were no words. And you can go see this on my Twitch channel. It's archived right now because it was yesterday's D&D session. Twitch.tv/mayhems_muse to watch the craziness that ensued. It was just ridiculous. It should have been like a wham bam, thank you ma'am, in and out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they just rip sauce for days. And even I was rolling like 2s and 4s. And
wow.
So there was one round where nobody hit anybody.
I'm just imagining the scene in my head of all these badasses and all of these monsters, and they all
just
run at each other,
missing.
and they're just swinging swords over each other's heads and tripping over each other. And
it was
the Benny Hill
so
music comes
bad. And sadly, it was like a turn-driven thing. Like at the beginning of this turn, this creature pops out of this column, and at the end of the turn, the creature absorbs itself into the thing. And
right.
if 12 of them get into the thing, it's gonna summon the demon lord.
Right.
And I had to skip an entire round of combat for my bad guys just so that they wouldn't fuck this up. Like, and I had to actively try very ridiculously hard to not do anything so that I wouldn't TPK anybody. 'Cause Oh man.
Just for my item, what is TPK?
Total party KO.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just kill everybody.
That's what I figured. Context clues, but you know.
Yeah, just everybody was going to die, and it just. Oh,
did the Demon Lord get summoned? Lives in suspense.
The Demon Lord should have gotten summoned. Should have. But at one point, I was just like, God damn it! Everybody, roll me a wisdom check right now. You rolled a 20. Great. You really think that if you get this guy's bloody corpse off of this ritual table, that you might not fuck this up a little bit?
Yeah.
You really think that within the next 2 seconds you want to try to get this guy off this table rather than trying to kill this baboon shit over here? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And then they were like, well, but I don't think that getting the guy off the table would stop it. What if we break the chains and get him off the table and let him fall on the floor and then he comes after us? And I'm like, you rolled a 21. You really, really, really believe to the core of your existence that getting this guy off this table is going to solve your problems.
This is just a side note, folks, but when a DM tells you to do some story shit, it's generally good to listen to them. As an ex-DM myself, I could say that, like, we don't normally do that unless you're about to make an apocalyptically stupid game campaign breaking decision of just like, well, I want to take the magical amulet and smash it on the floor and be like, well, you remember back when the old man told you that the amulet is actually like the key to the entire second dimension?
It's the great gem. You don't want to break it.
You maybe want to, I don't know, maybe like an old man comes into the tavern and he's like, hey, is that the world stone? Are you trying to break that? I wouldn't recommend it. And they're like,
no, I do it. No, we're doing it.
Unfortunately, too many of my campaigns end up playing with jerk-offs who are just like, I want to break it anyway. And I'm just like, all right, you broke the world stone. Reality has ended. This campaign is over.
You're
Bye,
done.
everybody.
Go home and rethink your life.
They're like, well, oh, no, we need to rewind. I'm like,
nope.
Sorry.
I tried. I fucking tried.
Actually, your story makes, I mean, you're a much more nice DM than I am. I think I would have.
This campaign, and I didn't want to kill everybody. One session before we fucking finish. We have one more session. You have one job. That job is to not die.
I would have just been like.
In the anti-chamber. Oh, that was the other part, is there's this chamber with all these different chasms that they have to, like, pop through. And if you pop through 7 of the 8 chasms, you pop right back out and you take necrotic damage.
Right.
And they picked all of the wrong ones. So our monk, who had the highest hit points in the party, ended up at, like, 2 hit points before he got into the chamber for the final boss. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I can't take you guys anywhere. I love you guys. I do. But Jesus.
I could say I've had a few of those. There was the campaign that we did over on Randy's Plays Games over on One of Us, where it was the Cthulhu apocalypse happens.
Ooh, fun.
But it was an interesting game system because you don't roll a character; you basically write yourself into a character sheet in this system. And yeah, if you guys haven't listened to that, I highly recommend going back and listening to it because I was there with a 6-pack. I was getting drunk, and I'm just like, we're doing all this mystical stuff. We figured out very early on how to actually stop Cthulhu from coming into our realm, but we still had all of these like tentacle monsters, mind flayers, essentially, that were all over the place, and they were taking people hostage and turning them into food and doing stuff, and we were all kind of on the run, and I was just like, I don't like to take a lot of shit from the apocalypse, Jennifer. So I'm like,
you or I both.
Is there a like a gun store nearby? Is there a Walmart? Is there a military base? And like by the end of the 3rd episode, I had basically turned us into the A-team, where we had a plan to lure all of these monsters into this giant 3-story building, and then some of us were going to set napalm on the outside so they couldn't leave, and then one person on the inside was going to detonate homemade explosives to collapse the building on them, and then we did that. We were going to take over the military base that was there, get all the tanks and the survivors, and start the army to like reclaim mankind. And all
right, I'm coming to you in the apocalypse.
I laid all this out. I was sitting there and I was just drunk and I was thinking about it. I laid all this out to the other people who are just my friends. Like, I'm like, does anybody here know how to make napalm? Is there a store is there an anarchist cookbook nearby? Is there a Walmart? Let's make some black powder, and we're going to make some homemade napalm, and then we're going to set these charges on the base. And they all look at me, they're just like, damn, man. And I'm like, what?
Watch some movies, bro. I read some books.
I'm not going to take any shit from the fucking fish-pocalypse.
No.
What?
Fuck the fish-pocalypse.
Yeah.
Bro.
Cthulhu's not even here. It's just his fucking fish minions. Like, come on. Come on.
Calamari for everyone. Let's do this.
Damn right. And then the other one.
World.
I've told this story before, but back in the old days, I played in an all-evil campaign.
Oh, fun.
And
there's a whole faction for that in 5th edition.
Oh, I loved so much playing as an evil cleric because since one of the core stats for clerics,
kill people.
Well, since the core stat on the cleric was charisma, and I was playing in Forgotten Realms, there's a race called Asmir or Asmir or something like that is half celestial, so you can't actually be brought back to life if you die, but you get like another 2 bonus points to your charisma, and you're half angelic, or in this case, I guess, half demonic.
Sexy as fuck.
And so we would just run across people, and our poor DM would be like, make a DC 25 like charisma check for this bullshit that you're spouting at this guy, and I'd just be like, it's 38.
Made that shit. Yes.
Like, okay, so not only does he believe you, but he also gave you everything. He gave you all his money, and he kind of is into you as well. And I'd be like, yeah.
I did it.
So, the people I was playing with in this campaign got really freaked out because I kept using charisma to screw people over. And we got taken prisoner by a bunch of pirates, and they put us to work, and we couldn't recharge any of our spells. And I befriended the guy that was keeping us prisoner, and we ratted out a bunch of our prisoners as prison riot, and he let us out of our cells for 1 minute, gave us some food that wasn't garbage, and then went to the next room to take a nap. And he's like, "Oh my God, you guys I'm gonna get promoted for this, and it's great." And I was like, "Okay, is he asleep?" Yeah. I'm like, "Okay, now let's fucking throttle him, take all his weapons, and get out of here." And the people I'm playing with, they were like, "But he's your friend." I'm like, he's
not my friend.
He's a piece of paper. Also, we're evil. Also, we're in jail because of this asshole.
Yes, do this. About? Evil.
And these people I was playing D&D with started judging me, and I'm just like, we're evil.
Get in the mindset, bro.
Do you not know
get in or get out. Come on, you commit.
Yep.
Just commit to your character, please. No metagaming, please.
Yep. Let's see. Our next question comes in from Tristan, who has a very drunk question. I'm going to skip over some of these. Where he says, "Hello, Rage Select, goddess, band, gods." I think that he means goddesses and gods.
I like goddess, band, god. I was in band.
Okay. So he says, if you won some weird sweepstakes that let you choose a video game developer to make a game based off of your favorite franchise, not limited to game franchises, what would you mash up? For example, From Software producing the next Gundam game, I'd play the hell out of that. Thanks for answering my question. My questionable email, as I make a strength check to pull myself off of my couch and send this email. Your fan since loading bar /Leog Tristan. And then it says, P.S. Did I mention I pushed myself to new drinking limits when I got the idea to write this? Also, it's worth noting that this entire email is got numbers and misspellings and there's incorrect spacing. This is definitely
lying.
Yeah, this is definitely a wasted email, or at least a good approximation of a fully wasted email.
Fair enough.
All right, so any developer to make
I got
any
an
franchise.
easy answer for this, bro.
All right, let's see what it is.
Squaresoft.
Okay.
Square Enix, whatever you want to call them these days. And the Dragonlance Chronicles.
Okay.
Raceland fucking Majir, motherfucking sorcerer. Well, wizard, to be politically correct. The 2 gods and the goddess. Gods of neutral magic, evil magic, and light magic. I want all that shit in a video game. Fuck yes. And I want it to be gorgeous. Like they do with the Final Fantasy games.
Okay. Do you think that it would work with in your mind, does it not have the Japanese aesthetic to it? Since that's not Dragonlance is more kind of European fantasy, right?
It is. It was an American series. But,
okay,
but it's more like your Baldur's Gate feel, kind of thing to it. But I just love the Japanese style of making games and soundtracks and storylines and all of that. That's who I would want to do it. Mm-hmm.
I think that I would love to see. People probably think I'm going to say Hidetaka Miyazaki, but Kojima's a free agent these days, and the amount of detail that dude puts into his games, in my opinion, is bonkers bananas.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like the Shadowrun universe and the current Shadowrun games that they're making that are, isometric turn-based games are great, but I would love to play a game where it's like a 3D over the shoulder action game that was in that universe where you had the tall buildings, you could see everything, and it had all the detail and stuff. Or maybe Neuromancer if you're a little bit more, if you want to get a little drier with it. But I don't know. I like Cyberpunk quite a bit. Like Fun. There was a Shadowrun game on the Sega Genesis that still remains one of my favorite games of all time. But yeah, I'm all down with the future and robots and stuff. I played the Gundam game from Software as long as it wasn't. I still think that the more that I saw it, I know that everybody is bummed out, and I hate to bring it back up over and over again. But man, that Silent Hills game looked really good. I mean, that was just really the right group. And I remember how I was kind of like so about it, especially from the PT demo, and the fact that it was Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima. And then I found out that Junji Ito was doing all of the monster design, and he does, I don't know if you know who that is, he does Uzumaki, the comic Uzumaki, and Tomy and that kind of stuff. He is like my favorite horror comic artist of all time. Like he's so good at these just really unnerving kind of beasts. Actually, it'd be really interesting to see a full-on horror game that had him and maybe like the kind of Bloodborne type of stuff, because Bloodborne still has a lot of action in it, but I don't know. I've had a couple of ideas for horror. I feel like really has gotten stuck with Cawthorn and Five Nights at Freddy's into having a lot of games that have a lot of jump scares in them.
Right.
But I really liked
psychological horror, man.
I mean, I remember playing through, when the HD collection came out, playing through Silent Hill 2, and then having a friend explain to me what Silent Hill 2 is, and I was just like, the meta context of all of this is amazing, and the way that it's
great.
Yeah, like because
scary as fuck.
1 and 3 were both like about like the cult in Silent Hill and birthing a new god and stuff, but 2 just being this like weirdly intensely personal person's psychosis like manifested by the town. I was kind of disappointed they never tried to do that again, and then they just decided like.
I was disappointed they never made a second movie.
Yeah, no, they did.
Was scary as fuck. Wait,
they did.
They made a second Silent Hill movie?
I mean, it wasn't Silent. It wasn't based on Silent Hill 2, but they.
Well, like I wanted them to pick up the story from where they left it off at the end of the first one.
I don't know if they did because I never saw the second one. But there was Silent Hill. Let's see. So I'm almost certain here. It's Silent Hill in 2006, and then
that movie gave me nightmares. And I had to see it on the creepiest fucking day.
Cancel games.
We had a storm that was super intense, and the light was all orange and weird, and oh god.
Films. Silent Hill Revelation, 2012.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I never even heard about that one.
Yeah. It's written by, let's see. It's a sequel to 2006 Silent Hill. So
was Sean Bean in it again?
No.
I was going to say.
It says, I don't know who half these people are, but Adelaide Clemens, Kit Harington, Martin Donovan, Malcolm McDowell, Carrie Ann Moss, and Aaron Pitt. Oh, with Sean Bean. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, maybe check Netflix, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, it kind of came and went. I mean, I know it didn't get super good. I don't think it got super good reviews, but
that's probably why I've not heard of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I dig it.
All right.
Great question. I liked that question. That was beautiful.
Yep. Our next one comes in from Gaith. I think that's how you say it. Ghaith. I'm not sure. Gaith, you say that?
I'd say that's fair. Yeah.
Says, hello, Jeff and Jennifer. My name is Gaith Mohammed, and I am from the United Arab Emirates. I'm a long-time Rage Select fan, and I would like to thank you and everyone in the crew for making Rage Select. You guys are awesome, and your videos are fun.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
It says, I started to rewatch an anime called Astro Fighter Sunred, one of my favorite animes of all time, and to sum it up, it's a Kamen Rider parody. Or Kamen Rider, I guess is the way you say that. There's a scene in the anime where the superhero beats up one villain so hard, the villain ends up quitting being a villain and starts opening ramen shops.
Ramen.
And he did so great that the hero, Sunred, is now one of his regular customers. My question is there a hero with this same scenario in Marvel or DC or any other media where the hero beats a villain and the villain quits and starts working at Taco Bell or somewhere else? Kind regards. And he says, P.S. I hope to send this in on time for podcast 150. This is 151. So, any hero in the Marvel or DC universe who gets beat up so hard that he decides to stop super villaining and do his own
The Watchmen.
thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Who would you say?
Oh God, what was his name?
Like Night Owl?
No. What was his name? Oh God, the guy with the pointy ears. He was a bad guy, and they beat the crap out of him, and he went to jail, and he did his time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He's just a regular schmo, and the comedian visits him, and they have like conversations and kind of level, and
the comedian shows up drunk at his house to tell him about the shit
and cries.
Okay,
that's a thing.
Yeah, I think that the one that comes up in my mind is there's a book called The Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of The Authority?
I have.
Okay. So in The Authority, you've got Apollo and the Midnighter, who are the gay couple who are basically Superman and Batman.
Weep.
And when Ellis stopped writing that, Mark Millar took over. I know a lot of people don't like him, but there was a storyline about basically this mad scientist named Krigstein, who in the 80s there was a superhero arms race. So he had created like thousands and thousands of superheroes, and they were all been stockpiled. And then when the government shut down his program, he went rogue and took all his superheroes that he had made with him.
I'm going home.
So in that universe, when Jenny Sparks dies, she gets reincarnated as Jenny Quantum, who is the spirit of the next century. And when Jenny Quantum is born, Krigstein sends his version of the Avengers to go kidnap her, because whoever has the spirit of the next century basically can determine everything that happens. So there's a thing where their Avengers show up to fight the Authority, and there's one scene where Midnighter gets kind of half blown up by their Iron Man equivalent, and he's laying under a bunch of rubble, and he basically just says to the guy, he's like, I know what it's like being a human weapon. Like, nobody loves you at all. I bet nobody's like touched you in years, and blah, 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 blah. And they have this shot from behind or from a distance where Apollo is looking over, and it's just Midnighter giving this guy a big hug. And then that Iron Man guy just drops his helmet and walks off. And Apollo's like,
sad.
Why didn't you hit him? And Midnighter's like, I didn't need to. He's already been crushed into a million pieces. And then like later on, they get a letter from him where he's like, oh yeah, I've got a wife now, and I married this woman with 3 kids, and I'm working at a hardware store in like Arizona.
How funny. I love that. I need to read this.
Yeah. I really like
The Authority. I'm going to read it.
Authorities. Yeah. Millar's run on The Authority was interesting. There's some weird stuff in there, though. I mean, there's a lot of Mark Millar stuff that a lot of people don't like, but I don't know. Some of it I like. But that's the only one that I can really think of. I'm trying to think of anybody actually in the DC universe. I mean, I know like Alan Scott stops being Green Lantern and becomes a businessman in some of the realities. That's the best one that I can think of, though. All right, next one comes in from Brent. And Brent says, hey, Rage Select crew, recently I just rewatched one of my favorite movies, Seven. This sparked a question. I've watched this movie for years, but it's only been recently that a friend of mine pointed out to me that the city in Seven is constantly raining. Apparently, this was a conscious decision by the director to symbolize how depressing and terrible the city is. Have you ever experienced a movie/video game that had similar hidden subtext that is taking you a while to understand? Bonus question, what's your favorite video game Easter egg? Thanks for the amazing content. Sincerely, Brent. This is a rough one. If you want to think about it, I've got an answer. There's actually I hate to fall back on it, but it's one of the reasons the franchise is my favorite. But both Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne probably fall into this category. Bloodborne has a real, very much like a subtext of birth and knowledge and kind of trying to be more than human, and how that quest to be more than human has crushed like an entire society and driven everybody all crazy and stuff like that. Dark Souls 2 is interesting because when you start Dark Souls 2, your main motivation is we have to find a way to stop the dark sign from corrupting your character and turning them into a hollow. And then as time goes on, you forget that was the main reason why you're playing the game. And so there's a point about halfway through the game, or 3/4 of the way through the game, where you get this crown that actually solves that particular problem and leaves you as human. But you're so embroiled in the kind of what's going on in the world that it took me until I watched, there was a video that this guy Vati Vidya made that pointed that out, that like you succeed in your quest, but by that time you have a whole separate thing, and it's so long ago that you've kind of forgotten why you started to do this in the first place. But I mean, also, I hate to just keep falling back on my same guys, but like, Kojima's games all have a lot of subtext to them that I feel you could miss because of them being just action games. But like, so many of them are talking about patriotism and soldiers and what it means to be patriotic, and like, if your country sends you to do something that you personally don't believe in, do you do it because that's your duty and that's the way your country is made up, or do you do your own thing and self-sacrifice and stuff like that? So some pretty heavy themes in there. But Souls is the one, because you have to literally string together, like, to find out what's going on in a Souls game, you have to read all the item descriptions and then remember them and then hook all of the different little things that they say together and then kind of like figure that out. I've never been able to do it. I just read Reddit where they get all deep into that. So
all deep in it. Gosh, that's such a hard one. And I know that I have several, but you asked me this question right now and my brain just goes blank. Like if I had a wall with all of my movies and games on them, I'm sure I'd be able to go like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII lately, and that one is just rife with social commentary and government taking over the world and destroying it and the environment and social norms and all sorts of stuff.
Shinra's pretty much just fracking, right?
Just seriously, bro. Just like, we're just going to destroy everything and not give a fuck, so take it. And then I guess another game I've played somewhat recently, The Wolf Among Us.
Okay.
So much social commentary. You played that one, yeah?
I played a little bit of the first one, but I never got back to playing the rest of them.
The Wolf Among Us is just, it takes your fairy tale stories and puts them in the real world Brooklyn, and it's like generations later, like hundreds of years after all of the shit happened and all the stories, and they're all just really worn down, and they now live in the regular world where they have to hide their fabulousness and their true identities, and all live like crap lives and are super unhappy, and nobody likes the big bad wolf even though he's just trying to be a good guy. And God, those games are super fucking depressing, and there's human trafficking and nobody can talk about it because they're under this curse, and the guy you think's the bad guy really isn't the bad guy, or is he the bad guy? You don't know. And God, there's so many layers of social commentary in that game that could be like an entire podcast in and of itself.
I never finished. I've read probably 50 or 60 issues of Fables.
So
the
good.
comics.
So dark, but so good.
I really liked, my friend Chris Robertson wrote like the 4-part Cinderella as a secret agent, like that she's not super powerful, but she's been alive for so long that Bigby Wolf and her have basically, she's kind of indestructible, but she doesn't turn into a wolf. She doesn't have like wind powers, but she has just been learning how to be a secret agent for the last 60 or 70 years that they've been in this world. And so she's just this paramilitary badass. And it was like, it's a good story.
Ass and taking names, man.
As far as favorite video game Easter egg, I'm trying to think. There's also,
what do you mean by that? The Easter egg?
Like little secrets. Here, let me. I'm kind of blanking on let me say.
Textbook definition here.
Well, it's basically a thing that's hidden by developers. Here's an example. There's an Easter egg in Metal Gear Solid 5 where there'll be guards that are listening to radios, and there's one of the radios in Metal Gear Solid 5 that is actually playing the broadcast that you hear in the PT demo. So it'll be just like little things added. Here's 100 of the best Easter eggs of all time on Games Radar. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that one's kind of hard to describe. Let's see if I can find.
This is a good one. Like this requires some thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that works here. Donkey Kong. Oh yeah, there was one in Grand Theft Auto 4. If you got into the big Statue of Liberty that they had there, they had like a big heart that was chained up that was beating inside of it. It was kind of crazy. Oh, I remember one. There was a game a long time ago that I used to play called Terminator Future Shock, and it was just an online shooter but the moon was up in the sky, and if you shot at the moon, a little thing would come up like in your voice comms box that said "ow," and if you kept shooting it, it would just go like "ow, ow, 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 ow," and if you shot it enough, then it would just like fall out of the sky. Like,
oh, there's one at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. After you destroy the first reactor, there's the Loveless poster on the back of one of the walls in the city, and that's a call to one of the earlier games, Final Fantasy VI. And that comes out in what is it? Dirge of Cerberus. That comes out in there as well.
Really?
It's on the poster towards the beginning of the game in one of the little houses that you have to go through. It's like a bar or something. It's a poster on the wall of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Here's one from Dead Rising. That's a cafe that you see that's called Jill's Sandwiches, which is a reference to Resident Evil, where he says, "You were almost a Jill sandwich," when she almost gets smashed in the room. I don't know that I've really I don't know that there's one that I can really speak to specifically.
They get you every time.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's roll onward. And this one comes from Thomas. Thomas says, "Hail, Chef and Jennifer." I guess I'm Chef now.
Chief, maybe?
Maybe it's supposed to be Chief. Praise to the Dong Lords. Okay. Just completed Ratchet & Clank, which was fantastic. All the colors. Is this title the best movie adaptation you have played? It seems in the UK, the film has gotten a worse than limited release, so I've been unable to watch it. Side note, and a better question, could you briefly recommend any other games which have been overlooked by the masses that are in the same vein as Ratchet & Clank, as I only bought the title due to the rage select light you lords shown on the thing. Cheers for all the content and many, many laughs over the years, a fellow patron, Thomas. So let's take these. There's kind of two questions here. Licensed games based on movies. He asks, is this the best movie adaptation? And I think that's what he means, even though Ratchet & Clank game is actually a remake of the first Ratchet & Clank game on the PlayStation 1.
Right.
But it is a movie tie-in game. I'm trying to think. There are precious few movie tie-in games that are any good.
Some of the Lord of the Rings games were pretty all right.
Yeah, there was
there's Shadow of Mordor, which isn't exactly...
Yeah, it ties into the universe, but it's not...
Right.
The only one that I can think of, and the one that everybody always trots out, is Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, is a fantastic game all in its own right, regardless of its connections to the Riddick movies. It's not even really as much of a tie-in because it's a prequel to Pitch Black more than anything else.
Oh no. I was going to say Lara Croft, but no, the games came first, not the movies.
Yeah.
Duh.
And I don't think there was a tie-in that had
any of the two. They're just the same.
It's really difficult because the studios have to pay. The game studio has to pay for the license rights to use those characters, and so it used to be they were all just cheap cash grabs, and now they've stopped even doing that because usually the studios will put so much pressure on them to use things in certain ways. But I'm trying to think of any other movie tie-ins.
I really can't.
There's so few that I don't know. I'm going to think a little bit here about the other question about briefly recommend other games that have been overlooked by the masses that are in the same vein as Ratchet and Clank. See, Ratchet and Clank, I feel like does. I mean, obviously, if you got access to a PlayStation 2, the Jak and Daxter franchise,
it's specifically video games made off of movies.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those aren't exactly the Jak and Daxter games aren't exactly a secret. But if you haven't played them, they are good. I know that if you like Ratchet and Clank, you have a PlayStation 3. There are a million Ratchet and Clank games on the PlayStation 3 that are all fantastic. Future Tools of Destruction, Going Commando, Into the Nexus. All for One is All for One is good as well. Outside of
the
that,
Batman ones.
I mean, those aren't. Yeah, those are still. It's not weird because exactly those aren't tie-ins to specific movies. They're more just kind of based on the character.
Casper.
Casper. Yeah, it's hard because they've never.
The Lion King.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good one. That game's fucking hard as shit.
Lion King and Aladdin on the Genesis were both really good games. The fact that you have to go back that far. Let's see.
The Harry Potter games didn't suck. Too bad.
Yeah, I didn't play any of them.
Apparently, there's a Jaws video game. Why didn't I know that?
For the NES, yeah. It's weird. You play as a boat. I'm trying to look through some stuff here.
Oh, I guess there's like the Kingdom Hearts games. Those are an easy segue.
So yeah, sort of.
Because they pull in the storylines from the movies.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Sly Cooper is all right. Beyond Good and Evil.
I liked Sly Cooper. I thought it was beautiful. I love that art style.
The one on the PlayStation, the one they put out on the PlayStation 3 is actually pretty good. I don't know. It isn't a type of game that I usually play that much of. Kind of behind the back platformers. I don't know. I'd have to think more about that. I'm on a list on Giant Bomb right now looking at games like Ratchet & Clank. Sunset Overdrive is pretty good if you haven't played that. I feel like that game didn't get a lot of love, but it was good too. Yeah. Rayman Legends, maybe? I don't know. All right, well, let's
there's a Godfather video game?
I believe there are two, actually.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
I'm learning today. Oh, the Judge Dredd video game.
I'm sure
that's a NES, Super NES.
Yeah,
Super NES game. Yeah, I have
based
it.
on.
I got it from my. I have a subscription to Retro Game Treasure, which is an amazing service if you like retro games. Mm-hmm. They said it's like $30 a month, and they send you 3 new to you retro video games a month.
Wow. Okay.
My last box was so freaking groovy. They not only sent me 3 games, they sent me a discount coupon for a Retron 5 console. It's like 20% off.
Oh, nice.
Fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And a set of Pogs and a flipper.
Okay.
And now they're doing not only like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, like those cartridge games, they're now doing PlayStation games too.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. I'm going to have to sign up for that.
Oh, it's so good. And if one of the games doesn't work, you send it back and they'll send you a new one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
great.
Cool. Oh, they didn't come out at the same time, but the Super Star Wars games are all really fun, even though they have very little to do with Star Wars. All right, let's ask, we got a couple more questions here, then we're going to be out. Julio writes in and says, hey, Jeff and Jennifer, has there ever been a game where when it first released, you hated it, but after some time away from it, or possibly an HD update or even definitive edition, you ended up liking the game? I hated Resident Evil 6 and DMC Devil May Cry when they were first released, but after some time and reevaluation, I actually ended up liking the game and thought it was one of the most underrated action games on the 7th generation. DMC 2, while I still think the story and characters are god-awful, Definitive Edition brought back some improved gameplay mechanics and better cosmetic stuff, a harder than hard mode, 60 FPS and 1080p, and better alternate costumes for Dante and Virgil. Now, if only they gave us a mute dialogue button. Thanks for answering my question, Julio. I do not know, Jennifer. And Julio, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to single you out because you're not the only person. You would have thought that the Devil May Cry franchise was like the biggest selling, greatest video game of all time with the way that people feel about that DMC reboot. I've had this conversation a million times with a million people, but just the other day I was looking back on it from another perspective. I don't hate Devil May Cry. On the other hand, like, it was a fun action game, and people... it's been like, what, 3 or 4 years, and they're still holding a grudge about that DMC game. It's like, that company's not even making that franchise anymore.
Yeah, they're done.
So, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know how I feel about that.
A game where you didn't like it at first, and then kind of came around to it as time went on, or there was a re-release, or you came back to it at some point. I can say there's been a few. Minecraft. I fucking loathed Minecraft when I first played it, and then we played it when it came out on the Xbox 360, and I was suddenly like, oh, I understand this. It's Legos. I'm still not the biggest fan of what Max Payne 3 does story-wise with Max Payne, but I do appreciate the game itself now. It's relatively fun.
Final Fantasy X?
Yeah?
I hate Titus.
Yeah?
Still hate Titus, whiny ass little bitch.
Such
That's
a
where I
douche.
want that mute button.
Yeah.
It's like, make his line silent, and the game is much more bearable suddenly. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Shut up,
no,
Titus.
Why? I mean, and then there's Final Fantasy X too.
Yeah.
Nope. Still hate it. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, I can say, I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the Final Fantasies, if there's been any that I have kind of not liked and then come back to. I don't know. I do know that the original Demon Souls didn't make any sense to me when I first played it. I was like, why? And then eventually, I don't know, took forever to get into it.
I could think of book series that I read through or started to read and hated and then went back and reread and liked. I mean, I could think of that, but not games.
I think for me, more often than not, this phenomena happens with movies and music.
Yes.
Where I'll listen to something.
Very much so.
And I feel like it's actually a good sign a lot of times when I watch or listen to a thing and I'm like, I don't know about that. Because those tend to be the sort of things that if I have to kind of like circle it a few times before I'm into it, that they tend to last longer than things where I'm just like, it's the best ever. And then I kind of burn myself out.
It makes you think.
Yeah.
It requires flexing those muscles and using them.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Okay. Well, we got one more question and then we're out. This one comes in from John. John says, hey, Jeff and Jennifer, just finished episode 149 and I'm all in on that version of the zombie apocalypse where you would be all right. Would you be all right with me seeing if I can expand that into a comic? I'm basically looking to have a ragtag bunch of weirdos and all 20 to 30 somethings go around killing every zombie they find in any way they can finagle and brush off all the bullshit you see with zombie media. How does that sound based on your idea? May the Dong Lord leave his blessings upon us all, John. So this is...
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Bring on the roller skates, man.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
Yep.
I actually have a friend who was in a trailer or a pilot or something for a movie that was about roller girls and zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. So dig it.
Were you on that? Was that episode where you were on? We were talking about...
I'm sure that's the one. We were talking about zombie apocalypses. And
Yeah.
I was talking about just give me... You were like, what weapon would you want? And I was like, give me a crowbar and my roller skates. That's all I need.
I think that was... Yeah, I'd love to see some people that use their actual goddamn brains in the zombie apocalypse.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Also work together and, you will survive. And if you're like, no, it's man, I got a really heated conversation with somebody at a bar one time about that where I'm just like...
You need to stop having these weird-ass conversations in bars, bro. Just drink at home like everybody else who's sane.
You just, I was like, you can't just...
You don't have to leave the house.
Be by yourself.
Have all the drinks you want. You don't have to drive anywhere, and you can drink in your underwear.
This is all very true, except for the fact that my house is my work, and I spend like 90% of my time here.
Touché.
So I do like to leave it.
Yeah.
Like last night was $1.75 Lone Stars down at the Hideout, and I just went and sat on the porch and read my book.
Well, you're going to come hang out with me on Saturday.
Yes.
Play D&D.
Yes.
So you'll be out of the house for like 6 hours.
What's that?
You'll be out of the house for like 6 whole hours.
Yeah.
That's great.
Go to a whole other location. Never go with a stranger to a second location.
Oh.
No.
On that note.
Yeah?
Oh, no, never mind.
By the way, just to let you know, John, feel free. Take all the whatever I say. I don't give a fuck. If I didn't want you to,
for it.
Yeah, if I didn't want you to use it, I wouldn't say it. Like
if you use our likenesses, just shoot us some scratch.
Yeah.
For the concept. Creation,
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Executive producer credit. I mean,
yeah,
that's
I'm
enough.
cool with that. Like not art direction, but like concept direction,
based on a
storyline.
based on a crazy idea by
concept by.
Yeah.
I'm all about that, bro. Call us.
Okay.
We'll work it out.
What were you saying? You're saying, speaking of...
No, I wasn't. I, for a second, thought that I had next Sunday free, and then I realized, no, it was Monday's shoot that got moved, not Sunday's. So
okay.
Never mind. I was going to be like, I could come over for the Sunday stream. And then I realized I was grossly mistaken and was sad about it.
I think that it was great when you were here for Sunday because people have literally asked... I mean, people have been asking me questions for 5 years now, and I feel like we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's like, but they don't know anything about you, so they can ask you questions.
Well, hopefully they liked
talk things. Yeah.
Did you get any feedback on that?
Oh, people always like the streams. I mean, they always have fun.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
And actually, that is the end of our questions, and that is the end of this podcast.
Oh.
So thanks, everybody, for listening. Jennifer, where can people find you on the internet?
I am Mayhem's Muse. You can find me on twitch.tv/Mayhem's mayhems_muse. I do a variety of video game streams and creative streams. You can find me on Twitter at mayhems_muse, Instagram mayhems muse, Facebook mayhems muse, and in person, in real life, you can find me at Tacticon Colorado, GenghisCon Colorado, E3, ChupacabraCon in Austin, Texas this weekend.
Freaking everywhere, man.
I'm trying to be. Oh, and at the San Diego Comic-Con, the Her Universe fashion show, I will be modeling.
Oh, cool.
In July. So yeah, I'll be out in California, Colorado, and Texas all this year.
Man.
Hello.
I feel like at some point it's like we need to do one of those Freaky Friday like mind switch things, and then it's like you can take a rest and just sit in my house for a while, and then I can go run around and do stuff. But actually,
I'm all about that.
I mean,
please.
Every so often people are like, "Oh man, I have to go over here, then I have to do this," and I'm just like, all I do is just sit here and watch Netflix. And
we'll have to work on your runway walk.
Okay.
But that's cool. I mean, I'll bring some heels.
I'll work it,
Like, yeah, girl.
I got that big...
Bust out of those jorts. I'll bring you a weave and some makeup, and we'll play drag. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I think you are.
I don't know if I'm ready.
You said you wanted a wig. This could happen. You could be fabulous.
Okay.
I think I've broken down.